in Valdosta, Georgia. It is the 2007 Class 5A state championship between the visiting North Gwinnett Bulldogs, who come into the game with a record of 13-1. Identical record for the home team, the Vikings of Lowndes, 13-1. North Gwinnett celebrating their 50th year as a school. By the end of the night, they could have their first state title in any boys sport. For the homestanding Vikings, they won championships back-to-back in 2004 and 2005. If they win tonight, it's 3 in the last 4 years. 12,000 people expected tonight here in Wintersville at the Concrete Palace. This is a battle of extremes and opposites. For North Gwinnett, they could send as many as 5 into any kind of a pass pattern. For Lowndes, they run the football, and they run the football, averaging over 6 yards a carry every single touch. And they held Camden County to under 100 yards of total offense in the semifinals. Here's how these two teams got to tonight's championship game. First 5A semifinal, North Gwinnett and Walton already up 3-0 Bulldogs. Michael Tamburo finding Cordero Dixon in the end zone, 14 yards, and the Bulldogs are up 10-0. Second quarter, driving once again, Tyler Jari crashes in from the first of his 3 touchdowns on the day, 17-zip. Bulldogs defense keeping Walton in check all day. Eric Eberhard, the speed rush, 3 passes defended, 2 tackles for loss, and a fumble recovery. Big day for number 94. North Gwinnett still not done. Late second quarter, under 40 seconds. Michael Tamburo scrambles, heads for the pylon. He'll get knocked out at the 2. Tyler Jari would score from there, 24-0 at the break. Second half, it's Tamburo and Jari hooking up one more time. Jari with the pass reception, 3 touchdowns on the night for Jari. North Gwinnett advances to the final, 31-7 over Walton. Second semifinal, Camden County and Lowndes, a defensive struggle throughout. Lowndes would strike first. Gerald Demps gets the handoff. He'll put some air under it on the halfback pass. Greg Reed with the great reception, 23 yards for the score, 7-0 Vikings. Randy McPherson prides himself on defense. Michael Copeland gets to the quarterback with the sack on the blitz from the blind side. Only 4 first downs the entire day for Camden County. Then the play of the day, the play of the dome. Derry Perry up the middle, 1, 2, 3 guys near him. Breaks loose. He did not go down. There was not a whistle. 58 yards on the sprint. He'll get caught from behind. It would set up a field goal to give Lowndes a 10-0 lead. Less than 100 yards total offense for Camden in the entire game. Lowndes shuts out Camden County 10-0 to make the final. The game between the Dogs and Vikes could come down to Mother Nature and tempo. The 2 guys keeping the beat for us upstairs, Dave Garner and DJ Jones. Gentlemen, take it away.
Alrighty, thank you, John. We welcome you upstairs. The atmosphere is rocking here tonight. 2 teams that survived the Dome last week here in the title matchup tonight. Alongside DJ Jones, I am Dave Garner, and DJ, 2 offenses here tonight. They couldn't look any different from each other, but both very effective, averaging 30 points a game.
Well, one thing's going to happen for the Bulldogs' explosive offense to happen tonight is that the kid by the name of Michael Tamburo, he's a sensational junior quarterback. 21 for 29 last week at the Dome, 234 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's a complete quarterback. He can run just as effective as he can pass. He's completed 70% of his passes on the season, and he just happens to have a personal touch there. His dad's a performance coach, so he gets to work on all those specialty skills in the offseason. And if that's not enough on the offensive side, Tyler Jari is a sensational multi-purpose running back. 97 yards in the Dome last week rushing, 2 touchdowns, and he caught a touchdown pass after getting 6 receptions for 35 yards.
Coach Bob Spire is the head football coach for North Gwinnett in his 2nd season. Here's Coach Spire with what we can expect tonight from the visiting Bulldogs.
Well, do what we do, you know. Game plan's win, baby, win, but, you know, offense, we're going to spread it. You know, hopefully we can distribute the ball to all 5 skill positions, move the ball around, make them defend the whole field. Defensively, we got to pressure them. I know they're a run game team, and that sounds odd, but we've really got to take gaps. We really got to get upfield, get penetration. We got to be disruptors for all their wing T stuff, and you know that's going to be critical.
Coach Spire, 24-3 in 2 seasons at North Gwinnett. All right, DJ, let's talk about this Lowndes Viking team. Lowndes with athletes all over the field.
One of the athletes that will be performing tonight for the Vikings is a special night. A 4-year starter, Darian Perry. He's a running back, and he's the career leading rusher for Lowndes, and he's also the top touchdown maker. He's a sensational running back, 1,195 yards on the season, averaging over 7 yards a carry, 14 touchdowns to his credit. And I tell you, this is a special night because this guy has started all 4 years, and he'll have opportunity to win his 3rd ring. On the defensive side, Tavares Williams, he's the headhunter, 155 tackles. I beg to differ, that probably is one of the leading stats in the state. 8 total tackles for losses, including a big sack.
Coach Randy McPherson in 6 seasons at Lowndes. Here is Coach Mack with what we can expect tonight from the Vikings.
Offensively, we're going to try to control the ball, not turn it over, make the plays when we got to. Defense, we're going to have to play great defense, try to keep them in front of us, make tackles. It's going to come down to blocking and tackling.
This group of seniors could be going for their 3rd championship. Talk about this talented group.
Real blessed to have that group of seniors, great kids. They work hard, they play hard. We're going to give it all we got.
Of course, the Vikings looking for their 3rd title in 4 years. Time now to meet another member of our broadcast team. Lisa Weiss will be reporting from the Bulldogs sideline tonight. She joins us with more on this one. Lisa?
Thanks, Dave. Practice was business as usual all week for the Bulldogs. Coach Spire got things started off Monday trying to motivate his troops about having to travel. So he used an analogy from an old American movie classic, Rocky IV, where he said, just like Rocky, we got to hit the road to win the title. Now, the other thing Coach Spire did all week during practice was blare band music throughout their stadium so they can get accustomed to just how loud this Lowndes marching band is. They are 360 strong. And of course, because they've done a no huddle offense and a silent count all year, that definitely should help them as well with the noise factor here tonight, Dave.
Back here at Martin Stadium in Valdosta, Georgia, Wintersville, USA. And both sets of fans have made the trip here tonight and have packed this place out. We're expecting about 12,000 strong. It's the Class 5A championship, and 10 of 11 champions have been from Gwinnett or Lowndes counties. That tells you the style of football being played, and Darius Perry on the return right there, but loses his footing. And DJ, that could certainly be a key here tonight with rain expected. We'll have to see how wet that track becomes later this evening.
Well, certainly the conditions will dictate how the offenses will perform tonight. I know that right there you saw how slick this field is, and it hadn't even started raining yet.
So we're going to look at that Viking offense first. They're averaging right at 30 points a game on the year and have been very impressive throughout the season. And there you get a look at the starting quarterback. That is Khari Franklin. You see his numbers, 14 of 35, 223 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. Again, just a sophomore. He likes to fake it. He will keep it, but he will make good decisions on that offense. We'll have the rest of the starters for you in a moment. First, the first play from scrimmage. And it's on the ground, into the middle there. Watch out, Greg Reed, all kinds of real estate. 40, midfield, he's off to the races. And Greg Reed will take it to the house. What a start for Lowndes, 91 yards on the play.
Sensational run by the junior, Greg Reed, getting an off-tackle hole and finding a crease, getting to the sidelines, and the rest was history.
Well, that got the Viking fans on their feet as if they weren't already. This place has been rocking, and what a start for Lowndes. And that young man right there, who we didn't even have a chance to get into the broadcast and talk about. We were going to say that Greg Reed is a guy to watch here tonight. The PAT is blocked, though, off the foot of Mark Willis. 38 of 41 on PAT attempts coming in, but that one blocked, so 6-0 the score. Lowndes quickly on the board.
If that wasn't a statement by Lowndes, I don't know what would be, but that, I guarantee you, right out of the blocks, right out of the chute, the tempo was set. Here's a handoff. You see him coming to the left side, cutting him back against the grain, finding the opening outside, and it's off to the races. No catching him there.
A lot of speed on both sides of the football, especially on that Viking offense and defense. And now North Gwinnett, just like that, will have the football as you see it from the end zone.
I tell you, you talk about getting a big play early, man. How much better can it be than getting the very first handoff and taking it the distance?
Big wind kicking up here tonight. That might have been into the wind a little bit. A 91-yard touchdown for that young man right there. And just like that, the homestanding Vikings are quickly on the scoreboard here tonight. And Reed, just a junior, and certainly a standout player on both sides of the football. So now it's Lowndes who will kick it off. And just 15 seconds into this game, it's almost like another opening kickoff. Let's see if the Bulldogs can answer. That ball will come down and go into the end zone over the head of Tyler Jari. An explosive North Gwinnett offense will take the field, averaging 30 points a game this year. And they have been superb. They like to throw the football around, as you see head coach Bob Spire. His team is hopefully going to be inspired tonight. That has certainly been their theme throughout the year. Coach Spire, an offensive mind. And we will take a look at those Bulldog starters in just a moment. Of course, the starter, Mikey Tamburo, 202, 294, over 2,000 yards with 19 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. And again, just a junior. He has been a standout precision point passer throughout the season, and he will throw on first down. Complete up at the 20. Not a lot of real estate, though, at all. In fact, maybe back to the line of scrimmage with Jari on the completion. Here's the rest of the offense. Thomas, the center, flanked by LaPointe, Shepard, the guards, Duggan and Hannah, the tackles, and they're big. And in the backfield, double, Jari, the backs with Dixon and Yoshimura, the wideouts, and Barnes, the tight end. Again, the receivers with over 2,000 receiving yards and 19 touchdowns this season to tell you what they've done in the air this year. 2nd and 9. They gave him a half yard on that last play. Swinging out. That's double 37. Trying to get to the corner. Will be drugged down and out of bounds up around the 25. Good pursuit by the Viking defense.
And that's what made them so good all year long. They hustle to the ball. Very, very fast defense. Very disciplined defense. But I tell you, they got the work cut out for them tonight. The wind might be somewhat of a problem for the passing game for the Bulldogs.
So far, it's a problem with us, with our rosters not blowing out of this thing here tonight. We're going to look at Double, who is certainly one of those backs that will be relied upon here tonight. He's certainly stepped up throughout this postseason. 3rd down and 4. Cordero Dixon moving over to the left side. Now a man in motion, Double. And Tamburo on the keeper, trying to drive it up. Is hit and shoved back. Not much there at all. It'll be 4th down for the Bulldogs.
And guess who made the big hit there? The same guy that ran 91 yards for a touchdown just a few plays ago, Greg Reed.
Taking a look at it right here, DJ. Quarterback draw all the way.
Nice execution on the offense, but they just didn't fool Reed. Good play, staying at home.
Reed is certainly a big hitter. This is a defense full of intimidators. You can call it the Dale Earnhardt defense. That's about the way these guys are. Kyle Mysick handles all the kicking duties, and you see his average, 33.7 with a long just under 50, and there is Reed, the return man, who has taken one back on a kickoff return and a punt return this year. Fair catch signal, and he will let it roll. And it takes a nice Bulldog bounce inside the 30, and Lowndes will be back on offense at their own 28. 9:27 opening period. Vikings up 6-0, and they've got the football back. This is a Lowndes offense, DJ, that is admittedly somewhat predictable. As you see the starters, Barwick the center, Grant Brantley the guards, with Vetus and Christian the tackles, Perry and Reed the running backs, Hargett, Howell also back there as well, and Black the tight end. Again, your Lowndes Viking offense. They've rushed for 36, 33 rushing yards, 46 touchdowns on the ground this season. Truly unbelievable. 1st and 10 on the ground, right side. Darian Perry trying to bounce it out there. Not a lot of real estate. Of course, the North Gwinnett Bulldog defense lining up in a 3-3-5, and there you get a look at them across the front. Pritchard, Wilburn, and Eberhardt. They're big and they're fast. And Yora Martinez and Maxwell, the linebackers, and the 5-deep secondary features Quillis, Hatchell at the corners, Van Horn and Humphrey, the safeties, and Moreland, the free safety. Jim Moreland had an interception last week. Over 90 tackles for a loss this season for that Bulldog defense.
One thing is for sure, the Vikings not going to try to fool you. They're going to run right at you.
Franklin hands, big room, Gerald Demps, watch out, into Bulldog territory and inside the 40. First carry of the night for number 9, and it goes for big yardage.
It goes for big yardage, but let me tell you right now, those big guys up front, it's Ethan Barkwit, Lane Grant, Levi Vetus, as well as Brady Bryant. These guys are opening up holes for these guys. So you know what? They're taking advantage of it. Great running backs and great line.
Demps, of course, threw the touchdown pass last week in the dome against Camden. You can see that big offensive line and the sophomore quarterback Khari Franklin. This time, Perry, right side, real estate. Watch out, trying to cut it back in and drug down by Moreland, the safety, who came up, made a nice stop right there, but good yardage on first down.
Great yardage and a nice block over on the right side, but right tackle Ed Christian, of course, opening that crease for the running back for the Vikings.
Perry listed at 5'9", 200. Over 3,500 career rushing yards. He's tied in touchdowns with former Viking Cedric Jones, who was on that 1980 championship team here at Lions. 2nd and 4 after a gain of 6. 2 backs. And they'll hand it back to Demps, who takes it inside the 30, and that's good enough for a first down.
I'll tell you what, setting the tempo, as I mentioned early on, in the first possession, but you know what? This is a continuation of a statement that was made on the first play of the game.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, that Bulldog defense has been superb this year. They've only given up about 11.5 points a game, as you see Coach Randy McPherson. 6th season at Lowndes. His son Will, an All-State player here at Lowndes in 2005. And once again, the Vikings on the move here. You can see North Gwinnett cheating 8-9 guys in the box. Misdirection, little scissors play right there. Reed on the carry, but not much there at all. Played nicely up front by North Gwinnett.
And those stout defenders up front, Darius Wilburn, Eric Eberhardt, as well as Robert Pritchard. You know what? They're expected to make the plays here. As you can see, getting penetration, getting on the Viking side of the offensive line there to make the play, and, of course, stop it for a short gain.
The big guys up front. This offensive line has really been the heart and soul of this football team for Lowndes, even with the outstanding skill position players that they have. 2nd and 9. On the ground once again, straight ahead. Reed will pick up a couple, and it will bring up a big 3rd down right here.
And obviously, you can tell that the defense for the Bulldogs is settling down. And again, the play of those big guys up front are going to dictate, again, how they control this line of scrimmage, of course. And they need to do a better job getting the first 2 series, if you will, by the Vikings coming out, man, literally destroying them. But you know what? They're settling down, and I like what I see now. Because, again, you know what? This thing can get out of hand early.
And there you see the rain starting to fall down. It was predicted to come in here right around 7:30, and, well, maybe 10 minutes later or so, but everybody's got their rain gear here. And hopefully won't play into it too much. 3rd and 7. And a little play in the middle. Adrian Hargett, watch out inside the 10, 1st and goal Lowndes. Hargett's first carry of the night. It goes for good yardage, and the Vikings are knocking on the door.
Maybe I spoke a little soon here, but, just when I thought that the Bulldog defensive linemen were getting themselves together there, we see that, the Vikings rip off another big play.
They are taking it right at the middle of that North Gwinnett defense, and I don't think that is any surprise here for the Bulldogs. I think they had a feeling coming in that Lowndes would do that. You see Hargett's numbers on the season, 525 yards, averaging right at 5 yards a carry. 1st and goal, and that one going to be blown dead. They were going to pitch it to Greg Reed right there, but let's check the penalty flag here again.
Dead ball. All right, I had defense.
Tell you, as talented as this offensive football team is for the Vikings, you talk about Perry, but, of course, he's complimented as well by Hargett.
Dead ball, encroachment on the defense, half the distance to the goal, 1st down.
Mentioning, of course, the accomplishments of Perry, the career leader, but, when you talk about Hargett and Reed, who ripped off that 91-yarder, these guys have a talented group of running backs.
Rusty Wynn, you saw him right there, the head man here tonight from the Middle Georgia Officials Association. Coach Bob Spire looking on right here after the penalty win against North Gwinnett. 1st and goal inside the 5. That is Darius Perry into the end zone, touchdown.
Wonderful job by Khari Franklin, the quarterback. Execution, taking the ball. You never knew who had the ball. I know that it's tough for us here in the booth to see who has the ball, but imagine what it's like if you're one of those linebackers and defenders out there.
And now Lowndes will try to tack on the PAT right here with 6:07 left here as we take another look at it.
Watch the ball faking here. Of course, Khari Franklin does a good job after handing the ball off to Perry. Of course, carrying out his fake.
And it looks like they'll go for 2. Christian Glisson in at quarterback, but that one going to be blown dead. So on that last play there, Brantley, the big guard, 5'10", 200 pounds pulling, and that one going to go on the Vikings right there. And they like to pull that guard. Big number 65 will be pulling all night long for that Lowndes offense. And now it looks like they might just, well, it looks like a timeout on the field right here. Lowndes going to talk things over on the 2-point play. Of course, they had their PAT blocked after that first touchdown. Here's another look at the TD.
Look at those big holes there that, of course, Perry's running through there. You know, obviously that's a direct product of that offensive line up front. We're taking another look. Walking right in there untouched.
Perry, a 4-year starting running back, preseason All-State this year. And back into the end zone here once again tonight for the Lowndes Vikings has really been a standout player. And of course, when you look down this roster of guys like Perry, great kids, of course, members of the FCA, Kari Franklin, the quarterback, and FCA spokesperson. These guys have really gotten it done both on the field and in the classroom.
They understand and they get it.
Christian Glisson, once again, number 12 in the lineup. You'll see him come in throughout the night. And he will hand off left side, 2-point play, and I believe he broke the plane, and he did. 2-point play for Greg Reed, who punches it in over the left side, and that gets the PAT back and makes it 14-0. 6:07 in the first. Lowndes up 14-0 over North Gwinnett. Let's go ahead and throw it on down to the field. Lisa Weiss standing by. Lisa, what you got?
Former North Gwinnett coach Dennis Rowland is feeling under the weather, who's now at Central, and the Bulldog Nation would just like to wish him well in his recovery.
All right, thank you, Lisa. Again, Dennis Rowland, a former coach here at with North Gwinnett, with the Bulldogs there, moving on to the college level. Of course, they've had 3 coaches in 4 years have the North Gwinnett Bulldogs, but Coach Spire in his second season has picked up where those other guys left off and really establishing this Bulldog program, and now they find themselves here in the state title game tonight. The Vikings will boot it away after their second touchdown in as many series. And a penalty flag back at the point there, and someone may have come across that line a little early.
That's what it looks like here in the early goings.
They're going to look at Randy McPherson. Of course, the Vikings 6-4 last year missed the playoffs after winning back-to-back titles.
Encroachment, kicking team, 5-yard infraction, re-kick.
Lowndes, of course, quickly finds themselves right back in this game here tonight. Last year was just a situation where they were very young, lost a lot of close football games, and in Region 1, if you're not on your game week in and week out, it's going to show.
But the most intriguing thing here is that they have won the state championship. They won in 04, 2004, and 2005. Had the off year last year, and right back here in 07 with the opportunity to do it.
A lot of resilience indeed for this Viking team. They're up 14 here in the first period, but still plenty of high school football left here tonight. Willis puts his foot into it, and a driving kick that will sail 3 or 4 yards deep in the end zone. And the Bulldog offense will once again work from their 20. North Gwinnett with a +8 turnover margin on the year, but really negative time of possession. That tells you they've got a quick strike offense. They don't like to hang on to the football too long.
And you know what, during the pregame, we talked about the explosiveness of this offense. I think they need to get it crunk up right now if they're going to try to get back in this ball game, because again, it's already, you know, they're down 2 scores, and with this quick strike offense, if they don't get it going now, I don't know if they can.
Big possession right here early in the football game. Tamburo again out of the shotgun. Cordero Dixon in motion to the left side. Switch to that side. And Tamburo looking to throw the football. Now will reverse his field. He's got a man open and taken down at the 23 after the pass reception there to Kirtley Double. Double wearing 31 in the dome is a home jersey, 37 here in the visiting jersey tonight.
Here's a look at Tamburo doing his thing there. Great feet, of course, when we talked about his ability to make to move around in the pocket, to get the completion, and great tackle by Greg Reed.
A lot of no huddle here tonight. You'll notice the players have wristbands. Most all of them do, even the receivers. They're able to get the plays in quickly.
Let's go, Greg!
Jari will go back there with Tamburo, and Jari will get the carry. It's hit up across the 25, up around the 28, and it will bring up 3rd down and a couple. Let's take a look at the Viking defense. A 50 front with Spivey the nose, Manning, Simmons, Miller, and Copeland across the front there. Summers and Williams, the linebackers, are excellent. And the secondary, Reed, Dawsey at the corners with Demps and Solomon, the safeties. 14 interceptions and 40 sacks this season. They put pressure on you and force you into mistakes. 3rd down and short. Big play right here for North Gwinnett. Dixon again moving around. Tamburo has time, throws, has a man in and out of the hands of the tight end, number 11, Barnes.
He had Barnes open there. Barnes just couldn't come down with the catch there. But, you know, again, I think realistically, the more they keep that offense off the field of the Vikings, the better chances they have. Right now, that offense is just not clicking for the Bulldogs.
You see the Viking sideline right there. Barnes had it go off his fingertips right there, and so it will be 4th down, and North Gwinnett in punt formation. And the punter is Kyle Mysick. We saw his numbers a while ago. Reed back deep. Mysick puts his foot into it. Fair catch signal by Reed. And he'll have it at the 35. A little bit of contact right there, but no penalty flag.
That was an excellent punt into the wind.
Viking crowd not liking that. They felt like there should have been a flag right there with a little bit of contact. But to no avail. So Lowndes will take back over. Of course, offense, they will run some trips. Basically wing T, though. A lot of unbalanced line here. As you see the total yards, 163 for the Vikings, just 17 for North Gwinnett.
91 of those coming on the first play of the game on the long, long touchdown run by Reed.
4:38 to play here. Opening period from Martin Stadium in Valdosta. The Class 5A state championship football game. Straight up the gut. Big hit right there inside. Still a gain of almost 5 yards.
Donald Maxwell with the big hit. The 6'1", 190-pound senior is the man in the middle for the Bulldogs defense.
5 sacks on the year. Maxwell's father playing for the University of Michigan and eventually with the Houston Oilers. So a family affair there indeed.
Good genes.
2nd and 6 after a gain of 4 as we reach the 4-minute mark of this opening quarter. Packed house here tonight. A little bit of rain in the forecast on the ground. Big hit right there. Big number 56 all over it.
Tom Martinez, 5'10", 210-pound senior there with the big hit. And I'm telling you what, I think that things are starting to happen. Take a look at this. Watch Martinez step right up and fill to make the play in the hole. And you see the rain starting to come down.
They're going to look at Martinez's numbers. 81 tackles, 11 for a loss, 3.5 sacks for the senior. Playing his final game as a North Gwinnett Bulldog here tonight. Big 3rd down, 3rd and 6. No gain on the last play. Little misdirection. Perry trying to make something happen right there. His hit keeps those legs driving. Great 2nd and 3rd effort, but he will be shy of the 1st down by a couple of yards.
Great determination by the senior running back, not wanting to come down, taking several Bulldog defenders to bring him down.
So the Vikings will trot on their punt team here. As you get a look at Perry. And Yora with that last tackle right there. 4th down and 3. Hayden Martin, number 46, the punter. A 33.5-yard average, a long of 60 on the year. This wind kind of going from near side to far side, so I don't know if either team really has an advantage in the kicking game here tonight. And Cordero Dixon will just let that one roll. And it will go down to the 11. Not a lot of field position so far for North Gwinnett, a 50-yard punt. Out of the shotgun, Tamburo firing. He's got a man. That is Barnes, the tight end, who makes the grab this time up to the 20 and a gain of 7. Talking to Coach Spire before the game, DJ, he wasn't as worried about the rain as much as he was the wind really batting that football around. See Barnes right there with his first catch of the night. 6'3", 215 pounds, is an excellent blocker. He may be the best blocker up on that offensive line, if you will. And a little misdirection. That was Patrick Thompson, the quarterback in the game right there. And Tyler Jari on the carry, but going nowhere. That Viking defense all over it. And every once in a while, North Gwinnett will bring in Patrick Thompson to take a snap or two. He'll be in the backfield along with Mikey Tamburo. That time, though, Lowndes not fooled.
Exactly. Big TJ Manning up in the backfield on the stop.
Under 2 minutes, opening quarter. You see the wide angle lens on that North Gwinnett offense. Throwback. They've got double. Trying to make something happen, turns the corner. He's got some real estate. Watch out. 40, 45, and up to midfield goes Curtly Double, the North Gwinnett fullback. Big gain right there in the first down.
Wonderfully executed play there. I tell you, the quarterback Tamburro does such a tremendous job with his execution, looking to the left and coming back right. And the rest is, of course, on the running there. He's getting great blocks out in front of him for a great game.
5'9", 170 pounds. As you see it again, a 35-yard gain for North Gwinnett. Now the Bulldogs are on the move for the first time here tonight, and they finally got some field position, DJ.
You got to love that execution there. And, I mean, you can tell that play, from what I understand, the Bulldog plays are scripted, the first 15 plays.
And the sky is opened up here at Martin Stadium, and that one, I don't know if that slipped out of Tamburro's hand or if one of the Viking linemen got a piece of him there.
Looked like 42, Chris Stinson was able to get into the line of sight, or at least the passing lane there, to knock that down.
Severe weather in the area. Temperatures have been really in the 70s all week long in the state of Georgia. Very unseasonable for this time of year, especially in the northern part of the state. Maybe a little cooler than 70 degrees here tonight with the rain, but boy, it is a downpour. 2nd and 10 after the incompletion, and we'll have to see how this affects that passing game. Tamburro long, he's got a man there, and they're going to wave him out of bounds. Cordero Dixon unable to get the 1 foot in needed, and it will be 2nd and 10.
Tell you what, that was a beautiful play for it not to count. You talk about the nice touch that Tamburro has on his play. You check him out as he's rolling to his left, the left-handed quarterback, going to get a little aerial punted to give his opportunity for Dixon to come down with it, just going to come down out of bounds. Only had to get 1 foot in, couldn't quite do it.
So that left foot towed the line. So 3rd and 10 right here. Nothing wrong with that pass, though, by Tamburro in this pouring down rain. He was able to get a little something on it. Tamburro, the middle of 5 children. Swings it out, and that one off the fingertips of Double and incomplete.
Michael Copeland, again in the passing lane there, which caused a slight deflection there, and had a lot to do with that pass not being complete.
And you see the fans in the house here tonight, and the Georgia Bridgman Award winning in the house here, rain or shine. And they play throughout the game. Very entertaining. Boy, they were firing up this crowd here before the game tonight.
Sounding good.
So once again, Kyle Meisick back to punt it. Greg Reed back deep for Lowndes, and this is a boomer. Returnable for Reed. Trying to make a couple of guys miss. Near side, reverses field. Watch out! 15. Makes a move. Still on his feet. Reed finally loses his footing across the 25, and a late flag comes flying in at the tail end of that play. Wow, Reed had 1 or 2 guys to beat.
A great display of open field running by Reed. And we already saw, I told you early on in the first play of the game, tremendous speed, but now you get a chance to see his elusiveness and his ability to make people miss in the open field. There's one miss. Breaks down another guy, 2, 3. That's tremendous job here returning this punt, and almost came out the back door with it.
And then a late hit right there, it looked like, at the tail end of that play. That's where the penalty flag came in.
Dead ball. After the play was over, late hit on the kicking team. 15 yards, first down.
They're going to look at our officials tonight. Rusty Wynn, the referee here tonight. Jason Cooper, the umpire. Freddie Stewart, the linesman. Chuck Tidwell, the line judge. Bobby Colson, the back judge. And Gary McPhail, the field judge tonight from the Middle Georgia Football Officials Association. We welcome those guys in the house here this evening. So after the penalty, the ball all the way out across the 40 for Lowndes. Demps trying to stay on his feet. And will be marked just shy of the 45, 3 tough yards on the ground right there. And the Vikings may have one more play here before the end of the quarter.
I like the way Anayola came over to make that play, scraping off, getting away from the offensive lineman from Lowndes and making the play.
Well, the wind has not let up any, and neither has the rain here so far.
48.
Ari Franklin, again, the quarterback under center with a couple of seconds left, and the Vikings will just let the clock run out here on 2nd and 8. Welcome back here to Martin Stadium in Valdosta. The rain continuing to pour, and what a first quarter for Lowndes, especially number 24, Greg Reed.
The junior had a sensational first quarter here, making a statement here. Of course, the very first play of the game for the Lowndes County Vikings taking the play down the left side or right side, actually 91 yards for the score after coming left. And again, running away from it. Here you see making the big hit on defense. He doubles as a cornerback and getting the run between the tackles for his second touchdown in the first half.
Here's you see that punt return there. The first part of that very elusive, and they're going to look at Reed. Of course, he was accounted for 8 points here in this first quarter. The 2-point play, and of course the touchdown to open the game. The Concrete Palace, as it's affectionately known around the state of Georgia, especially in South Georgia, going to undergo a renovation following the end of the season. We'll have more on that later on in the broadcast here tonight. Meanwhile, that Viking offense goes back to work. And what I was going to say earlier, I might need to clarify this. The Viking defense, you know, somewhat predictable, but many predict they'll run right over you. I mean, they don't have a lot of secrets. They line up, they go unbalanced, and typically they run to the strong side. It's up to you to stop them.
Absolutely. And so far tonight, the Bulldogs have not been able to stop the Vikings.
3rd and 6. Big play right here for both sides as you see that defense there for North Gwinnett. Number 97, Pritchard, headed to Central Florida with 6 sacks on the season at 6'4", 230. The offensive line for Lowndes, meanwhile, averaging right around 240. So neither team giving up a lot of size to the other. Franklin, that's Reed on the ground, tries to break the tackle. Great open field tackle by Moreland, the safety, who came up for a nice stop.
You gotta love it. You gotta love it. And you know, he's cheating up a little bit because he obviously knows that, you know what, it's not a threat to pass the ball. So as you see him sneaking up, getting up, and he almost is actually an extra linebacker coming up, making a great play there.
Well, that 3-3-5 is almost more of a 3-5-3 typically, and they'll bounce back and forth, but they bring those guys in there, and especially with Lowndes running the football as much as they do, that's what we expect here tonight. Hayden Martin once again to punt it away. They're going to look at Cordero Dixon. And a high snap over the head of Martin. He will pick it up and will do what he can. Gets enough real estate to get the Vikings out of their own end. But a big play right there, and now the Bulldogs will try to take advantage.
That's why special teams are so important. You can't just play good offense or good defense. The special teams, this is a huge play that's going to probably give the Bulldogs a lift.
A high snap right there. Boy, that one just sailed, and you got to wonder if maybe that rain had anything to do with it. Not to make any excuses, but certainly a factor here tonight, no doubt. Martin right there again electing to pick that football up and try to get what he could out of it. Still well shy of a first down. Going to try to make North Gwinnett earn it right here. The Bulldogs again inside the Lowndes red zone at the 17. More shifting right here. They will run a twin stack to both sides. Ball loose on the ground. Tamburo sacked. Big play right there by Copeland, who came shooting through and made sure that Tamburo was unable to get that one off.
And I'm sure there on that particular snap there that the conditions had a lot to do with Tamburo not being able to get the snap cleanly there. That's a low snap, but is luckily fortunate to be able to just get back on the ball.
Copeland listed at 6'3", 200. 4 sacks on the year. And Coach Spire now from the sideline there, and a little bit of movement up front from that Viking front. Let's see if he was drawn off or if he came across there. Looked like he did make contact.
Encroachment on the defense, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
And Rusty Wynn with the call right there.
And an opportunity to get a little of that yardage back from that fumble snap on the previous play.
Lowndes 4-0 in title games, 2 of the last 3 years, 5 players in the NFL. We're going to look at Tamburo. Clean snap, looking, now under pressure, throws it up towards the end zone. That one will be out of play.
Smart play by the quarterback, of course, having no one open and getting rid of the ball, not taking the loss because he gets to line up and start over again on 2nd down.
You know, we talk about these 2 counties, DJ, and Gwinnett and Lowndes winning a share of 10 of the past 11 titles in the highest classification in the state of Georgia. Really the 2 epicenters of football for North and South Georgia.
Tremendous effort on the season for both teams to get here tonight.
3rd and 15. The Bulldogs going backwards here on this drive, but trying to make something happen, trailing 2 possessions. Tamburro, pump fake in the middle of the field. Watch out, Yoshimura, first grab of the night inside the 10. He will be shy of the first down. Again, Yoshimura, the big-time wideout, at a big catch last week that kind of set the tempo in that win over Walton inside the Georgia Dome.
Tamburro was able to set this play up by pump faking to Dixon outside, and of course having Yoshimura coming right back underneath to get the nice gain.
See the tail end of it right there. So 4th down, and it looks like Kyle Mysick will line up here for a 25-yard field goal attempt from the far hash. Tough angle right here. Good snap, good hold. The kick is up, and the kick is no good, wide right. Wasn't sure if he hooked that in there or not, but again, that tough angle right there, and he couldn't knock it through.
You said a mouthful. That was a tough angle.
So the Bulldogs come away empty, and the Vikings dodge a bullet.
They did indeed dodge a bullet, and I tell you, the Bulldogs not capitalizing on that particular play there to get some points on the board. Really, they're digging a hole for themselves because, again, you know what you're going to get out of this Vikings offense. They're going to ground it out, and of course, being up 2 touchdowns, you know what? When you run the ball, that clock tends to move a little bit quicker.
So now the Vikings will take back over offensively. As I mentioned, their O-line really the heart and soul. Over 3,000 yards rushing. And back to work. That is Perry over the right side. Will push his way up across the 20 for a gain of a couple. Nice job there, number 97, Pritchard, fired up along that North Gwinnett defense, trying to rally his guys over there on that side of the football. Gain of a yard, 2nd and 9 upcoming.
The Bulldogs defense needs a big play. They need a spark. Because again, when you talk about being 2 touchdowns behind a team of the caliber as the Vikings, that's tough. It's really tough to do.
Listen in at quarterback. Takes over for Franklin, and that one blown dead. Listen, number 12, a 6'2", 187-pound senior.
Dead ball foul, encroachment, defense, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Bulldogs a little H. We talk about that high-powered North Gwinnett offense. This Bulldog defense really complements that offense because it's a high-tempo defense, if that makes any sense. I mean, they really come after you and force you into mistakes, and they do a great job of getting the football back to set their offense up.
And you're right. One thing that the Bulldogs defense have to do to try to break up the monotony of this Vikings offense, they got to shoot the gaps. And Coach Spire made reference to it during the pregame, shooting the gap, causing collisions on the other side of the line of scrimmage so that they can stop some of these plays.
3 defensive touchdowns in the win over Marietta in the first round of the state playoffs for North Gwinnett. They won that one 44-0.
Timeout, Lowndes. That's their 2nd timeout. They have 1 remaining. North Gwinnett has 3.
Back here inside the Concrete Palace. Again, 14-0. Lowndes leads it over North Gwinnett in the 5A state championship game here. Live on GPB. As you see Coach Bob Spire, 19 years as a head coach. Of course, took Lexington Catholic out of Kentucky to the 2005 state championship before coming to North Gwinnett. And Lexington Catholic winning a state championship last weekend. As Coach Spire's Bulldogs will take the field in the dome. Here's room for Hargett. Watch out across the 40. Adrian Hargett had a big run in that first quarter that set up the score. And another big run right here with under 8 left in this first half.
Nice quick feet by the running back, Hargett, as of course getting up and finding a crease and running the daylight. Here's a look at it. You notice that those defenders from the Bulldogs are shooting the gaps, but they're missing. They're missing, and they're not getting their hands out to get off of the blockers. And, of course, Hargett took advantage of an opening there and ran the daylight.
Dustin Hatchell, number 1, brought him down there. Hargett listed at 5'6", 175 pounds. 1st and 10. Glisson stays in the ballgame. Here's Reed. He squirts through a hole, coughs it up, and a recovery by Eric Eberhardt. The Bulldogs will fall on it, and a turnover just shy of midfield.
That was a big hit there.
Well, we focused on Eberhardt last week in the pregame, and he is a stud up front for that Bulldog defense, and that is really what they needed, some momentum.
Here's a look here. Reed getting the handoff. Of course, breaking tackles, getting hit square in the back there. That's Marquise
Willis.
Yes. That disrupted that play. Willis coming in, hit him flush in the back. You see his head gear shake there? Boy, with the whiplash effect, that was a powerful blow.
Willis 5'11", 165 pounds, 7 interceptions on the season, but a big hit right here. So now Michael Tamburo and that North Gwinnett offense will go back to work. They'll swing it out. Watch the throwback. The third quarterback is hit and dropped inside the 40. Patrick Thompson swings it back over to Tyler Hunter, the third QB. But that time it was snuffed out by the Vikings. You see Thompson with the throwback. Thompson will come in occasionally and take a snap or two, but I'll tell you what, Hunter never had a chance on that one.
Michael Mitchell was the defensive back that was able to stay at home and not be fooled. And again, you know, when you talk about it, and that's the last thing that I want to mention too, you know, when you talk the last game, last night and tonight, when you talk about teams that made it here, they have such a great disciplined defense.
North Gwinnett minus 24 rushing yards, round 173. Second and 26. Tamburo has time, fires in the middle, and that one incomplete. They were going to Barnes, the tight end. So third and long right here with 6:42 left in period 2.
Never thought you would see this, but of course the Bulldogs seem, again, not to be able to get this offense going. And you got to credit the defense of the Vikings.
Absolutely. I think Lowndes has a little something to do with that here tonight. No doubt, here in this first half. First championship appearance for North Gwinnett. Trips near side. Jari in motion. One back. And whistles. We'll check in with Rusty Wynn, the man under the white cap here tonight.
Sideline warning against Lowndes County.
And the Vikings a little anxious. Lone loss for North Gwinnett was in the final week of the regular season against Norcross. That's why North Gwinnett didn't have a shot at hosting this game, because they're the number 2 seed out of Region 7. Meanwhile, the Vikings' only loss came in the first week of the season. A 9-0 shutout here against Harrison in very similar circumstances. A pouring down rain, but since then they've rattled off 13 in a row. Again, third and 26. Tamburo on the keeper, swings it out, double hit, and drops shy of the 35.
Mitchell again on the play, the defensive back. With a great play there containing, coming up on the pitch band, and giving the knockout blow. Michael Mitchell.
Mitchell with a couple big defensive plays there on that series. And this last one forcing a 4th down. Playing a little option there nicely. So Mysick back in punt formation, a little high, but gets it away. Good punt. It will drive Reed back inside his own 10, and he will let that one go, and it will dive down and go into the end zone, but just barely, and he pretty much outkicked his coverage right there, and that ball nearly died inside the 1, but it will come back to the 20.
Just a terrific punt in these conditions, and I tell you, that says a lot. Punting into the wind and in the rain.
Got all that one indeed. DJ, the Vikings have outscored their opponents 122-32 in the postseason. And we'll take a look at a couple of scores here from today. Of course, Buford all over Lovett in the 2A state championship earlier this evening. That one a final now. And earlier this afternoon in the AAA game, it was Carver Columbus over Cairo 16-13. And I know you had a little interest in that one right there. First ever state title for Carver.
Hey, man, Carver Tigers all over the country are just celebrating right now. The very first state title for the football team.
Exciting time there, of course. A couple of championships yesterday. ECI beating Wilcox. And, of course, Northside winning over Ware County last night in a great football game played at Waycross. Here is Perry. Bounces it outside, still on his feet. Watch out, breaking tackles up to the 38 goes Dariet Perry.
And that's one of the main reasons why this young man is the leading ground gainer as far as in school history, because of his great balance, his strength. As you see here, when he makes contact, he keeps his feet churning, he gets behind his pads, making the contact there, getting low, keeps his feet churning, knees up high, and he continues on for yards after the initial hit.
And it's not like the Bulldog defense isn't wrapping up. I mean, they had him wrapped up. It's just the power right there if they're able to break out of it.
He is a powerful young man.
With that touchdown in the first half, it is believed that Perry is now the all-time school's leading touchdown getter. And this one straight ahead. That was Hargett, 32, tripped up just beyond the 40.
I made mention to it early on with, up 2 touchdowns. Again, grinding it out, getting 5, 6, 7 yards of carry. I tell you, that's not going to do too good for the Bulldogs. They know that they want to get on the field and produce some points. But as long as this offense is grinding out the way they are, they'll never get an opportunity.
We'll look at that Bulldog defense here. Of course, Lowndes, as I mentioned, 30 points a game offensively. You see a lot of different sets here. You see Kari Franklin back in the lineup there. Christian Glisson took a couple of snaps in that last series. Here's Reed. And he bangs it up across the 45 up to about the 47, and that will be about a yard shy, it looks like, of the first down. So 3rd and short upcoming.
We talked about all the running backs for the Vikings, but again, the sophomore quarterback, I think it's just a tremendous effort that, you got a sophomore here. This kid will be around 2 more years, and Kari Franklin, they're alternating quarterbacks, bringing in now into the game Christian Glisson. But Franklin does a wonderful job, and again, he hadn't even got in on this running part tonight.
Yeah, Franklin's got 4.4 speed.
Yes.
Glisson, not quite as fast, but has a stronger arm, but they will keep it on the ground. Perry, all kinds of real estate, first down into Bulldog territory down at the 37. And Perry continuing to pick up where he left off early in this game, 20 yards on the carry.
And this Lowndes Vikings offense continues very machine-like as you take a look at Perry there following his big lineman, number 65, Lane Grant, for a nice 20-yard gain.
Perry, as you see his numbers, 9 rushes, 60 yards, and a touchdown already here tonight for the senior. Playing his final game as a Viking. Here's Reed trying to bounce it outside. Breaks off of a tackler. Still on his feet. A little stiff arm right there, and he's going to be close to a first down. Finally shoved out of bounds, and they'll mark him out at about the 23.
Greg Reed is putting on a clinic tonight as far as a running back. You take a look at this. Nice display there using the stiff arm. Avoiding 2 tacklers there to pick up the great yardage hit.
Great job to get the first down to stay in bounds right there.
Already well over 100 yards for Reed. 136 yards to be exact.
Reed had a 56-yard touchdown run against Roswell in the quarterfinals. Of course, the co-defending champs. Lowndes winning that one 31-20. And here's Perry into the middle. All kinds of real estate, touchdown. Perry in the end zone for the 2nd time tonight.
They're making it look easy.
This home crowd fired up here. And why not? They're up 20-0 pending the PAT.
We'll take another look at it as Franklin hands off. Actually, that was Glisson that handed it off to Perry, and Perry went up the middle there untouched. And you're talking about making a highlight reel or a teaching film from the wing tee. I guarantee you could take most of the plays, the running plays, from the Vikings offense tonight to put together a pretty nice piece.
And another PAT blocked right there off the foot of Mark Willis. So the 2nd blocked PAT on the night by the Bulldogs there. So it will remain a 20-point game with 3:44 left here in this first half as the wind again picks up and the rain continues to fall heavy here. And you got to think this weather certainly favors a ground team like the Lowndes Vikings.
Here's another look at the block PAT there. We can't quite find out or spot who gave that great effort to block, but it was somebody in the middle of the line. Let's take another look here. Actually, this is a look at the touchdown. Perry running up inside, literally untouched.
You know, when you bring those 8 guys in the box, DJ, it's pretty much gap football assignments as you were talking about there. And that time there's a big hole open in the middle of the field.
You know, I'm noticing something here.
See the scoring drive there, 7 plays, 80 yards, just 2:25 off the clock. And of course, Perry with the capper, a 23-yard run.
I'm noticing every time that the Vikings have the ball, the rain dies down. But every time the Bulldogs get the ball, it kicks back up. Is it me, or am I imagining things?
Vikings have booted away. Short kick, trying to angle it to the up back, but it will go out of bounds. So good field position right here, looks like, for the Bulldogs with 3:44 left. And if you're North Gwinnett, again, this game is not out of reach yet.
No.
Plenty of football left here, but again, it'd be huge to make something happen right here as we take another look at that touchdown.
And you notice nobody ever put a hand on him.
Nope.
None of the defenders, no white jerseys, nowhere around him. There's even a better look here, up inside. I guess that's just a tremendous job by the Vikings offensive line.
Perry's numbers, 10 rushes, 83 yards here in the first half, and 2 touchdowns for the senior. Barwick, the center, again, one of the main guys on that offensive line for Lowndes. Grant and Brantley doing an excellent job up front along with Vetus and Christian. Barwick playing a couple of snaps as a freshman. He's one of those guys like Perry that has played a little bit all 4 years. Tamburo, pump fake, looking, firing, got a man inside there. That is Jari, midfield. Watch out, he's got some moves. 30, 25, 20. And down to the 15 goes Tyler Jari, and that's a big momentum gainer right there for North Gwinnett.
Marcus Solomon with a touchdown-saving tackle, but you got a chance to see the burst from Jari after getting the pass from Tamburo.
54 yards altogether on the play.
Here's another look at the versatile running back for the Bulldogs, taking just a little pass over the middle there, finding a crease and getting outside and turning on the Jets.
Well-designed, well-executed middle screen right there. Jari, not only the leading rusher, also the leading receiver in this offense, and basically everyone has a screenplay designed for them. That one worked perfectly. Tamburo trying to set it up, being chased, out of trouble. Will tuck it, run it, and takes a big shot just shy of the 10. Wow. Mikey Lucky hang on to the football right there. Big shot, number 57.
That's a nice
Devin
shot.
Simmons.
Yes, absolutely.
Big 250-pounder in there. When you get all that moving in one direction, a lot of things can happen.
But you got to take a look at, of course, trying to make something happen here. Tamburo, of course, is just as effective with his feet as he is with his arm. And, of course, nothing is open, so he tries to pull it down, spins off, and takes the big hit.
Gain of a yard on the play, so not a sack there, but 2nd and 9. And Tamburo nearly lost his footing, stays on his feet inside the 5. Touchdown, Mikey Tamburo.
There's a great look at the mobility of this quarterback. We talked about it during the early goings. This kid is just as dangerous running the ball as he is throwing it.
Well, that's what you call answering the bell right there, DJ.
Yes.
After that touchdown by Lowndes, the Bulldogs, within a minute, go down and score their first points of the night.
And that has to do a lot for the Bulldogs' confidence here to know that they still can get into this game. And, of course, getting some points on the board here before the half.
Little swinging gate right there, and now they'll bring him over, and Kyle Mysick will look to boot the PAT and put it back to a true possession football game. Patrick Thompson, the backup QB, and it's blocked. And 3 blocked extra points combined here tonight. So it will remain 20-6 with 2:43 left in the second quarter.
And guess who? The kid with 136 yards rushing, Greg Reed, was the person responsible for making that block on that PAT. Here's another look at it. Actually, here's a look at the touchdown run by Tamburo here. Nice balance, broke 1 tackle and got on in the ball. He actually slipped up on the turf there, had the presence of mind to gather himself and stick it in the end zone.
Take another look at it right here. Again, yeah, nearly lost his footing. Those feet are always moving, though, even in the pocket when he's back there, and so that might have helped to keep those feet going. Nearly got tripped up on the turf right there. Tamburo again into the end zone. And I got the Bulldog crowd on their feet. So now the Bulldogs will boot it away with 2:43 to see the drive. 4th play, 65 yards, and just a minute 1 off the clock. And Tamburo again on the 10-yard keeper right there into the end zone. And a little confidence boost for the Bulldogs who score their first points.
2:43 remaining here in the first half. Still some time.
Now look at this kick by Mysick. He will drive Reed in 5 yards deep into the end zone, and Mysick's had a habit of doing that all year long.
still plenty of time for the Bulldogs to defense to come out and stop the Vikings, and that's what it's going to take. Again, you almost feel the momentum shifting a little bit, somewhat, because it's been all Vikings in the early goings.
Lowndes, of course, back to work offensively right here. Coach McPherson with some last-second instructions to his offense. Coach Bob Spire, the head coach at North Gwinnett. Facing the sideline, has to be pleased with the way his offense came back on that last series. Two-back set, 1st and 10. Bulldogs cheating them up in there. And this is Perry on the carry right here. Up across the 20, not much there though at all. And that's a trademark of this Bulldog defense, is they will cheat guys up there. Sometimes they'll rush 6, drop 2 back. They'll rush 2, drop 6 back. I mean, they do a lot of different things up there and give you a lot of different looks. But credit that Lowndes offensive line. The Vikings have been able to pick it up. Absolutely, and you got to give credit to the linebacker, Iloka Aniora, for the Bulldogs on the stunt there that caused, that pretty much caused the collision in the backfield, and he was responsible for such a short game. Christian Glisson back in at quarterback for Lowndes, as you see that front for North Gwinnett. 14 returning starters up for the Bulldogs from last year's 11-2 football team, and their 4th consecutive playoff appearance. Straight ahead, not much there. Adrian Hargett, maybe a couple, up to the 23, close to the 24. So a big 3rd down upcoming right here. And again, North Gwinnett's got all 3 timeouts left. Telling you, Pritchett, Wilburn, and Eberhard are playing tough up front, and they still have an opportunity to give their offense the ball back again here. And the Bulldogs will indeed burn 1 of those 3, so they still have 2 remaining with 1:47 left here in this first half. Been a good crowd on hand here tonight. Of course, the Battle of the Bands coming up here as part of our halftime festivities. We hope you'll join us for that. Of course, great partnership with Georgia Public Broadcasting and the Georgia High School Association. Of course, 22 title football games live on GPB, 11 years, broadcast partners. And we certainly want to thank all the folks from the Georgia High School Association for their hospitality. It's been a great partnership with basketball and football. Not a lot of real estate there on that 3rd down play. That was number 11 on the carry, Tavares Williams. We haven't called his name a lot tonight on offense, but he is really one of the big backs who comes in for Reed and Perry. That was a big stop by that Bulldog defense, led by Donald Maxwell, was the first to get in the backfield, get penetration to slow down the runner. And now here it is, 4th down and fairly long. The Vikings going to come to the sideline and think about it a little bit. I don't know. I think that obviously the Bulldogs have done a great job to give themselves an opportunity to get the ball back to get more points. They will burn their 2nd time out. 1:41 left here in the first half. They still got 1 left. And so more than likely Lowndes to punt the football here possibly. And the Bulldogs will get it back maybe in good shape with 1 timeout left to work with. We'll look at Williams. Of course, we talked about him in the pregame here tonight, DJ, and what he's meant to that defense. He's the big guy on the defensive side of the ball. 155 tackles coming into tonight's ball game. And he's a large responsible for that tough Vikings defense. 108 live football games televised right here by GPB. And of course, the partnership once again with the Georgia High School Association has been great over the years. Been doing this since 1997 and hope to continue that partnership in the future, and certainly appreciate all the support. Fourth down upcoming. Let's go downstairs. John Nelson. John, what's going on?
Talk about dedication to craft, how things are in these conditions. It's kind of like being the postman, neither rain nor sleet nor snow. We got nothing on Wes James. He's the play-by-play guy for Valdosta State. He called the game in Florence, Alabama for the championship. Made it down here to call this game tonight, guys.
All right, thank you, John. Via private jet, from what we understand right there. Wes James with a busy afternoon, the busiest man in show business. This one picked up by Cordero Dixon. He is slung down, though. Great special teams tackle right there by the Vikings.
Tell you, man, these punters are putting on a show tonight in this inclement weather. Another great booming punt.
And that's Kevin Dawsey, 15, the starting corner down on special teams with the hitch. Yeah, of course, Wintersville, USA, as we talk about. Lowndes trying to make it 2 championships here. Of course, Valdosta State, congratulations to the nearby Blazer program. The D2 title earlier today, another fourth quarter comeback as they toppled Northwest Missouri State for the NCAA Division II National Championship. So an exciting time for the folks here in Valdosta and Lowndes. So the North Gwinnett Bulldogs to work here with a minute and a half left. Tamburo fires in the flat end and out of the hands of Kirtley Double.
A minute and 25 seconds here for this Bulldog offense. And of course, when you got a kid as talented as Tamburo is, you know what? Not anything is possible.
Tamburo, of course, as we mentioned, the middle child of 5, very poised, very focused, always keeps those feet moving. Has really matured into quite a football player and is considered by several publications to be the top-rated junior prospect in the state of Georgia. 2nd and 10 right here. Tamburo firing. He's got Jari out of the backfield, 30, and right at the first down marker, that was Reed who pushed him out on the far side, and that will stop the clock with a minute 18.
Tell you what, we talk about how good the quarterback is, but he certainly wouldn't be as effective as he is if it wasn't for this young man, Jari, number 2 here, the multi-purpose running back, catching the ball out of the backfield here, picking up some great yardage.
Bulldogs starting to gain a little momentum right here, starting to move the sticks a little bit. This is not the first time the Vikings have faced a spread offense. They have done it throughout the season, faced Tift County 28-17, a winner in that football game earlier in the season. So they've seen a little bit like this before. Maybe not quite as complex as this North Gwinnett Bulldog offense, but nonetheless doing a good job here tonight.
Right.
1st and 10 at the 35. Another pump fake into the middle. That's Barnes, the tight end, who gets collared around the neck right there, and a gain of 1 on the play. Vikings on it, though.
That's Tavares Williams. We talked about him and his leadership on the defensive side, being the headhunter here. That was a nice play there to stop. It could have been a long gain here. He was able to stick the big paw in there and knock down the big tight end.
This is a heavyweight matchup here tonight, under a minute. 2nd and 9. Tamburo again pumping. Now trying to find a little bit of running room. Will step out of bounds. Smart play right there. And you got to like the way Tamburo really not forcing anything tonight.
You got to appreciate his mobility, of course, being able to just, you know, he's not looking to run, but he's buying time. But you know what? Those quick feet help him get in and out of trouble better than some of the best quarterbacks that I've seen in high school in a long, long time.
Coach Bob Spire, of course, the student section, affectionately known as the Bob Squad. They have really taken to Coach Spire here in just his 2nd year, decked out in black. 3rd and 7. Twins left and right. That's double in motion. Trips now to the near side. And a little quarterback draw right here into the middle, and Williams upends Tamburo at the 40. Textbook hit right there, wrapped him up and laid him down.
I tell you what, that Tavares Williams, they call him money in the bank. And you know, when he's on the field, you know what? You see why they call him that, because you know he's gonna make the plays he's supposed to make. Not being fooled at all on the quarterback draw, squaring up here and just gonna get a nice little lift there to finish off Tamburo.
Money in the bank, I like that.
Money in the bank, that's what they call him.
Timeout on the field right here with 28 seconds left. It will be 4th down. As you see the Bulldogs there, of course, their offense with just 6 points here tonight, averaging 30 on the season, but still another half of football left to play, and we'll have to see how these conditions hold up in the 2nd half. North Gwinnett has outscored their opponents this year, 130-45 in the postseason. And they've done an excellent job, of course, beating Marietta in round 1, as we talked about. The defense stepping up, of course, beating Brookwood for the 2nd time this season, 17-3, and that was really the game right there. North Gwinnett knew that, hey, we're a good football team. We got a chance to go all the way. Of course, an exciting win over Noonan in the quarterfinals, 38-35, 414 yards of offense, and that one 300 on the ground. You know, we talk about this spread, and they like to pass first, but they've gotten as many first downs rushing the football this year as they have through the air for the Bulldogs. 4th down, Mysick to boot it away with just 28 seconds left. Battle of the Bands coming up. The North Gwinnett High School Band and the Georgia Bridgman from Lowndes set to take center stage. And another great booming punt by Misick. No fair catch this time. Reed trying to get into the middle. And we'll climb over the 25 right there. And maybe 1-2 plays left possibly for this Lowndes offense.
Tell you what, this weather seems to be affecting everybody but these punters, because these punters are definitely doing a wonderful job.
Hadn't affected these kickers at all. You're right. Yeah, boomed it out of there. These guys a little over their average, maybe with it being a state championship game. You know, the adrenaline is there, you know.
Yeah, there you go.
Coach McPherson, again, a 2001 title in Florida before coming across the state line here just inside the state line to Georgia, taking over at Lowndes. Has compiled a pretty impressive record in his 6 seasons. And Christian Glisson will take a knee, and that should do it for the first half of play from Martin Stadium here in Valdosta. It's the Lowndes Vikings 20 and the North Gwinnett Bulldogs 6. Let's go ahead and throw it down. John Nelson standing by with Coach.
Here with the coach. First half was a clinic for the running game for you.
We played well on defense. I tell you what, they can strike quick. This thing ain't near about over. We got a lot of work to do.
I was going to say, defensively, short of that last drive where they got that 7 on the board, you pretty much had them in check.
Yeah, we just got to keep playing well.
Man of few words as always, but he's got a big purpose. Let's send it back upstairs.
Halftime underway here at Martin Stadium in Valdosta. Lowndes up 20-6 over North Gwinnett in this 5A state championship. Now it's time for the Battle of the Bands. And first up, it's the North Gwinnett High School Marching Band. Brian Lemeth and Marion English, the band directors, 160 members strong with their performance title, Marching Through the Years, 50 Years of North Gwinnett. Let's listen.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for another
Gwinnett High School band in the house here tonight. Let's go ahead and throw it down to the field. Lisa Weiss standing by. Lisa.
Joining me now is North Gwinnett's principal, Dr. Green. And Dr. Green, what has the excitement been around all campus, being the first time in 50 years making it to the state championship game?
Well, Lisa, this is just great. I mean, you've got a championship band, you've got a championship atmosphere. We're just really fortunate to be here, and hopefully we'll play a better second half. I think we will. We've never been here before, so I'm sure Coach Spire will make a lot of adjustments, and we'll come out and play well. And it's just been a great night. We've not let this rain deter us, and the Lowndes folks have been great. It's just a pleasure to be down here.
How's it been for the entire community, and what has it meant to North Gwinnett High School?
Well, you know, you find out just how many North Gwinnett fans you have when you get to go to the state championship. We've had a lot of letters, phone calls, just people coming out to the community. And I mean, it's been a great experience for us this past week.
And I know there's more going on at the high school besides football.
That's correct. We have a lot of, advanced curriculum for our students. Our academics are second to none. We're really excited about our whole school right now.
Well, thank you so much. Hopefully your Bulldogs will do better in the second half. Dave, back to you.
Halftime continues here at Martin Stadium in Valdosta. 20-6 to score. Lowndes over North Gwinnett. Now it's time for our second band of the night as we feature the Georgia Bridgemen. Charles Todd's the band director, 340 members strong. Let's listen in. once again, the Georgia Bridgmen in the house here tonight. The Lowndes Marching Band doing an excellent job, award-winning. As we go to the sideline, John Nelson standing by. John.
Here with Wes Taylor, the principal of Lowndes. This may be old hat, but it surely doesn't get old. What's the week been like for you?
It's been a great week. Of course, our students have been very excited. Our community's been excited. We had a little concern early in the week because we sold out the home side with reserve tickets by Tuesday morning. And some of our folks had to wait on tickets, and they don't like to do that. But it's all worked out well, and it's been a very exciting week for the whole community.
How proud are you guys, the Lowndes community as a whole, of this band, because they're strong across the board?
They are. Our band, the Georgia Bridgmen, do a great job. They're a wonderful public relations tool for our school as well as our school system. And they represent us well all across the country.
And there's some other things going on here as well. I mean, this is going to be the last game here at Martin. It's going to look like this.
It is. We have plans to renovate the entire stadium beginning in January. And we'll start that right after the first of the year.
Now, let's talk about what else is going on at Lowndes that you guys are proud of academically and all that.
Absolutely. First and foremost, we're all about academics. One of our goals is to provide a quality education for all of our students. We do that through a rigorous curriculum, utilizing effective instructional practices. And our goal is to go from good to great, and that's a journey for us. We're all about trying to get better each and every day. We're in a constant state of improvement.
Wes, thanks for your time. He's going to try and get me one of these rain suits. And yes, he gets the Alan Jackson joke all the time. Let's send it back upstairs.
Back here at Martin Stadium in Valdosta, Lowndes up 20-6 as we get set for the start of the second half. Let's go down to Lisa Weiss standing by with Coach Spire.
All right, thanks, Dave. Standing by is Coach Spire. Coach, certainly not the first half you were hoping for.
Yeah, felt like a character in a Stephen King novel or something. Particularly that first quarter was a nightmare. You know, we had a chance to make some plays, and you know, I thought as the half went on, we moved the football, and you know, we just got to make plays this half, and we can't obviously make any more mistakes.
Coach, thank you so much for your time. Good luck in the second half, and keep using this.
There you have it, Coach Spire. Again, as you saw, they're 24-3 in 2 seasons at North Gwinnett. Won a state championship a couple years ago in Kentucky. That same Lexington Catholic team, of course, won another state championship last weekend as his Bulldog team was taking the floor inside the Georgia Dome. Of course, they also spent time as the head coach for the National Indoor Football League, a national champion Lexington Horsemen. Of course, Dusty Bonner was his quarterback on that football team right there. So he's got the experience at all levels.
He does, and I tell you what, it's going to be interesting to see what adjustments he made at the halftime. Of course, trailing now 20-6, but having a lot of time to come back and make this thing and turn this game around.
Mark Willis will boot it away for Lowndes, and he sends one 5 yards deep in the end zone. It's really become a battle tonight between Willis of Lowndes and Mysick of North Gwinnett.
Powerful legs here by these kickers.
So the Bulldogs will be on offense to open up the half right here. Again, Mikey Tamburo with that touchdown there with 2:43 left in the first half, which, as we showed you a minute ago there, the keeper for the TD. The only points for North Gwinnett in the first half, but a little bit of a momentum builder as you see Tamburo's numbers, 8 of 14, 128 yards, and that one rushing touchdown for the junior in the first half of this one.
He's crafty, I tell you. You know what? He can find ways to get it done. Now he's really going to have to get some scores on the board here to get them back in the game.
Tamburo, the Gwinnett County record holder for completions in a season. And we're going to need some completions here in the second half. Little throwback out here. Knocked away. Copeland got a hand on that football. And everyone chasing after it there, thinking it was a backward lateral right there, but it is called an incomplete pass.
That's a big play there by Copeland, the big 6'3", 200-pound sophomore, getting his hands in the passing lane there to deflect that pass.
So a big play for Lowndes offensively to open the ball game, and now a big play defensively to open the second half.
That's right.
Boy, if he'd got up underneath that thing, he might have took it in.
I tell you what, if he had it up so high there, he'd probably another couple of inches there. He could have had it. He could have intercepted his own deflect.
Second and 10. This time Tamburo rolling out, gets rid of it. The big lefty intercepted on the near sideline.
Looks like Greg Reed again.
And Reed will just take it and head right over to the bench.
That kid is having one heck of a day. There's a look at Tamburo rolling to his right, throwing against his body there, but overthrew his target, and Reed was there to make the play.
7 interceptions now on the season for Greg Reed to go with the 8 he had last year. As you see the pressure
Tamburo had to get rid of that football. So 15 interceptions in 2 seasons for Greg Reed. That's a school record.
Yes.
Tamburo with a rare mistake. He runs this offense to precision, but now it's the defense who needs a big stop, and movement along the front right there. That was Brantley, the guard, who took off a little early.
A little anxious there.
Dead ball. False start. Offense. 5-yard penalty.
And you rarely see that happen.
Down.
You rarely see that happening with the offensive line for the Vikings. Very disciplined group. And, of course, busy opening holes for those great running backs in Reed and Perry.
They average 240 across the front, so you think of Lowndes, you think about all the speed, but they got a little bit of size up there as well.
Yes.
Bulldog defense digging in right here after the 5-yard penalty. Left side, a little bit of running room right there. And that was number 24, looked like on the tackle right there for the Bulldogs. And you see Reed with the carry.
Zach Humphrey holding on for dear life. The 5'10", 175-pound junior strong safety making the tackle.
Talking about Humphrey, also Van Horn, number 21, one of those starters. Had a broken foot earlier in the season, came back after just 4 weeks, and is in the lineup here tonight. Of course, was in the Dome last week, had a lot of big tackles in that one. Receiver is number 21.
I love those tough guys.
That's what a football player is all about. Kari Franklin will hand it to Perry. Inside, still on his feet, and he will be close to the first down, maybe a little bit shy right there, but it will set up 3rd and short. And Perry really keeps those legs running.
Powerful young man, I tell you. You know, we've seen him do this time and time again tonight. Take another look at getting the handoff from Franklin. Going up in between his guard and center there, but bringing it back across the grain and just bulldozing over the Bulldogs defenders. No pun intended.
Tristan Glisson in at quarterback. Perry again on the carry. He's got some room. Watch out, still on his feet. Great balance. You know, we saw that last week with that big run where everyone in the building thought he was down, and of course kept those knees off the ground. And another one right there. He could have kept one more foot on the ground right there. He might have been gone.
Here's another look at it as you see the powerful downhill running by Darius Perry. Well, Reed took advantage of all the yardage in the first half, and looks like Perry's going to do his best to take advantage of the second half.
Kari Franklin back in there. Adrian Hargett in the backfield along with Perry. And the give again is to number 28, but he is ate up this time and going nowhere. A nice job there by Anyora, 34, one of the first guys there defensively, and Van Horn, 21, who we just talked about, coming back from that broken foot.
Absolutely. These guys have to chase the football. They have to, tackle as a team because, obviously the power of a Perry, you're going to need, your buddies to bring him down. Great play.
Quillis, 36, also in there as well. Quillis against 7 interceptions and a 3.0 GPA. One of those guys getting it done in the classroom as well as here on the field.
Always good to hear.
2nd and 13. And this time out of the shotgun, it will be Reed on a direct snap. He's got some room and he will score. They call that one the Tebow formation, if you will. Reed takes the direct snap out of the shotgun. And basically the same result that you see typically on the weekends.
Take a look here at Reed scoring his 3rd touchdown of the night, I believe it is. There, right up the middle. Once he penetrates the line of scrimmage, there's no one there between him and the end zone.
So now Willis will look to add the PAT right here. Now they're going to snap it, and Reed will be stopped short on the 2-point attempt. Again, right out of the gun there. Not shifting over. Offense stayed on the field, so it will remain 26-6. But the Vikings with a big offensive series set up by the interception from Reed. And then, of course, Reed out of the shotgun on offense takes it in himself.
I tell you, you know what? What a stage to have a performance that Reed is having tonight. A great performance. Starting off, of course, with the 91-yarder to open the game. And again, now going into the end zone here in the second half.
Great blocking. Brantley 75. That guard was pulling over, and that opened things up a little bit. You know, a lot of times in a wing tee, it might look like the same plays over and over again, but it may be blocked completely different up front. It's like a whole nother play.
Yep.
So the Vikings will boot it away. Here you see the scoring drive there. 6 plays, 41 yards, 2:22 off the clock, and a 16-yard touchdown run for that young man. And his numbers tonight, 157 yards and 2 touchdowns on just 10 rushes. A big night for the junior.
Nearly 16 yards a carry, man. That's a big night in anybody's book.
Absolutely. So Willis with another boomer, and again, out of the end zone. The Bulldogs, not a whole lot of return yardage here tonight, have really not been able to get a lot of field position. They did towards the end of the first half there a little bit, and now Michael Tamburo and that offense will go back to work. It might be worth mentioning that North Gwinnett had to replace a center and both guards from the 06 team, but those guys have done really well. Thomas, of course, the center, 6'1", 235, really makes a lot of calls up there. If he sees something, he relays that to the coaches, and that certainly came up big in that semifinal game, or in that quarterfinal game against Noonan. Led to a game-winning touchdown. Here's Tyler Jari, hit by Williams, number 11, the guy we talked about up top, and a big hit right at the line there.
And the reason why Williams was able to make such a clean hit there is because the guys up front, you're talking about Banning, Simmons, and Stinson taking on those offensive linemen there, and again, using them up so that Williams can have a lane to shoot the gap and come up and make the play.
Second down upcoming. 2nd and 9. Tamburo, low snap. Now looking under pressure, and he will go down back at the 11. Tamburo sacked. Copeland, number 17, with more pressure.
Another great play by Copeland, getting the sack. They've got their ears pinned back now because they know that the Bulldogs have to throw to get back into this game. We'll take another look at Tamburo with a low snap, good hands. Looking to his left, now looking back to his right. And there's Big Copeland coming off the edge.
So 3rd and long right here.
This is a great opportunity to be a defensive back. You know what the offense has to do.
Snap gets away from Tamburo, and he will be taken down in the end zone for a safety.
Copeland again.
Number 17 has stood out on defense, DJ.
2 big plays back-to-back by Copeland.
So 2 more, and now 28-6 with 8:17 left in this 3rd period, and the Vikings will get the football back.
You know, right before halftime, when the Bulldogs were able to score on a Tamburo run, you might have seemed to think that a little momentum might have been fading over to the North Gwinnett side, but there's no doubt here in the early goings that all of that tempo is right back where it started with the Vikings. There's a look at the snap there. He fumbled the snap into the end zone. Big play by Copeland.
Well, the scouting report on this Viking defense is they are fast, they are physical, and they fly the football, and Tamburo has been under heat all night. And this Viking crowd is fired up as you see Coach Randy McPherson. 4 state championships for the Vikings, 80, 99, of course 04 and 05, to go along with 7 region titles. And here you get a look again right in your living room, Copeland all over it.
Take a look at that shot. I tell you, that guy on the camera is right on top of it.
I'll tell you what, a big shout out to our GPB camera crew here tonight. They've worked through the elements and brought us some great camera work, and they've been on every play here tonight.
Indeed.
Not to put the pressure on them, there's still almost 2 quarters of football left to play here, but what a great job tonight by all the guys in the truck and all the folks on camera.
You're trying to give them the rest of the evening off.
Yeah. And this free kick will be booted from the 20, so the Vikings on the return with good field position is what they're staring at. And again, 4, that is Solomon, Marcus Solomon on the return right there, and Lowndes with excellent field position and a 22-point lead.
Marcus Solomon on the return.
North Gwinnett again making their first championship appearance. 2006. Last year, of course, they lost to Tift County in the quarterfinals. They're right here in the state championship game here tonight, their 4th consecutive playoff appearance. Coach Spire, again, just in his second season, has done a remarkable job, as has Coach McPherson right here, who just continues to keep it rolling.
Absolutely. And, you know, we've been talking about the running backs, Reed and Perry, but, again, we got to give a big shout-out to this big offensive line because they've been doing their job, opening up the holes for these guys to do their job.
Franklin back in at QB, left side, watch out, real estate, Reed across midfield and into Bulldog territory. And a gain of about 11 or 12 and a first down.
Just as I mentioned that, Levi Vadas as well as Lane Grant, the left guard and left tackle, opened up a nice hole there. It looks like it's a little gimpy. Reed limping back to the huddle there. But he's had a big night.
As I mentioned, 240 across the front for that Lowndes offensive line. Defensively for North Gwinnett, they average about 230 themselves. And very fast there. As I mentioned in the first half, neither team really gives up a whole lot of size on either side of the football. Here's Perry back into the middle. And nicely played there by that Bulldog defense. Perry still able to pick up a few yards there on first down. One thing that Perry does well is he really reads those blocks. He's very patient, lets his blocking form a little bit, and then reads the cut.
Absolutely, and a nice solid tackle by Robert Pritchett, the Bulldog defensive end.
We're going to look at the Vikings, 321 total yards of offense here tonight.
Wow, and I tell you what, a large part of that will definitely, or who's responsible, Reed and Perry. Those two guys, well over 200 yards between the two of them.
Second down. Ari Franklin, a speedster. Haven't really seen him hang on to the football much here tonight. Once again, we'll give it. And to the 40. That is Reed on another carry right there. To bring up about a 3rd and 3. This Bulldog defense, 7 games allowing a touchdown or less with 2 shutouts. So they've been dominating.
You're seeing Reed getting the yardage there. You mentioned something interesting. The quarterback, Franklin, is a very talented runner himself. Hadn't had to do too much tonight, thank goodness, because, you know, those between Perry and Reed, you know, you throw Franklin in the mix, this thing could be out of control. Could have been out of control a long time ago.
Reed with a touchdown catch last week off the halfback pass from Demps, accounting for the only touchdown in the semifinal win for Lowndes over Camden. 10-0. It was really the defense, though, that stood out in that game, allowing just 94 yards of total offense and 4 first downs. Meanwhile, Perry, over 100 yards rushing last week. Franklin. And straight ahead, target on the carry, but not much there at all on 3rd down. So shy the first here. Maybe a half yard or so in 4th down, but inside the Bulldog 40 in decision time for Coach McPherson.
Absolutely. You got to credit the defensive line there, those big guys up front, and Darius Wilborn, Robert Pritchett, and Eric Eberhardt.
It's been raining so much here, DJ. The ink is smearing on everything.
Yes.
You can hardly read anything.
Yeah, I tell you.
Under 6 minutes left here in the 3rd period. The Vikings faithful on their feet. The Bulldogs faithful on their feet. And the offense will stay on the field. 4th and a couple. Direct snap, Reed, left side. First down and more. 30, 25, 20. Still on his feet and finally drugged down at the 17.
Touchdown saving tackle there.
Willis, 36, brought him down, but not before a big run.
33-yard gain here. Taking a direct snap. Reed going over his left tackle there.
And look at the blocking downfield, too, by those receivers. You got to love that.
Yes, indeed. And those linemen continuing on down 10, 15 yards.
On an offense that runs the football there, you got to have receivers that are physical and willing to block. You saw Dawsey downfield. Some of those guys here. Here's Reed again on the keeper. And we'll take it down just inside the 15.
Just grinding it out. Big day for that young man.
Absolutely. Huh.
And not a bad day for that guy either.
Nope. Not so far at all. As John mentioned, he doesn't say a whole lot, but he doesn't have to. He lets his team do the talking for him.
That's right.
Once again, Reed out of the gun. Keeper all the way. Stays on his feet and will work down to around the 10.
Dragged down by Darius Wilborn.
Like he lost a helmet there that time, did Reed? This North Gwinnett High School, the 7th largest school in the state, one of the oldest in Gwinnett County. 50 years of football and playing here in their first championship game here tonight. Had to travel a good little ways, over 250 miles and about 4 hours approximately, but they are in the building here tonight.
And brought a nice contingent of folks with them.
Yeah. Brought a little rain with them as well, I think, here. Of course, the northeast part of the country being pounded with winter storms and everything, so we're lucky we've been in the 70s through much of the state over the past week or so, and a timeout of the field called by the Vikings, their first here in the second half with 3:58 to go in the third.
You know, you talk about this rain, and you know, as bad as I'm sure these offensive teams don't want it to rain. We need the rain in the state, in the state.
Absolutely. 28-6. We'll step aside and be right back. Lowndes over North Gwinnett. We're back in a moment. Back here at Martin Stadium, let's go down to the field. Lisa Wee standing by. Lisa.
If you have a live computer, you can catch this game live anywhere around the world thanks to live streaming from gpb.org. Just like the Bulldogs wide receiver, Jason Yoshimuro, his father's in Japan, and he's watching the game, and my mom's in California, and she's my #1 fan, and she's watching as well. Hi, Mom. And Dave, you know what? They're dry.
Well, they're doing better than we are tonight then, absolutely. There you see the live streaming on gpb.org/football. And again, we encourage folks with family members all around the world to tune in. We've had a lot of folks watching from outside state lines here tonight. Back to action after the timeout called by Lowndes, and the rain has really started to fall here now as the skies have opened back up, and that one's going to be blown dead.
Watch yourself there, Dave. It's coming in the back door.
False start on the offense, 5-yard penalty, third down.
Yes. Rusty Wynn, our head official here tonight, and they're going to look at it up in the lights. Big rain falling here tonight. Wow, you can't even hardly see the sky above you.
And in this open-aired press box, we have been fairly protected earlier, but I tell you, this last little push.
That's out the window now. That's out the window now. Well, let's see what it does here to the field. Again, the Vikings on the move here. Already up 28-6, staring at more. Third down and 9, though. Big play right here for that Bulldog defense to try to make a stop and stay in this game.
Yes.
Kari Franklin back under center. And this time he will roll, look to throw a pass. He fires. He's got a man in and out of the hands of Demps. Moreland was there for the hit to make sure he didn't come up with it on the bobble, but Demps could hang on to it.
Well, you know, perfect execution there. Franklin finally getting the pass off, but again, the elements here of the inclement weather causing, of course, no grip. You can't grip the ball, and of course, it's hitting right in the hands, and normally on a dry day or even a less rainy day, that would have been a completion.
So fourth down, it looks like Willis will come on here to try to add a field goal. This one will be put down right at the 24, so a 34-yard field goal attempt for Mark Willis. 5 of 8 on the year, had one last week, and that one blown dead.
Dead ball. We got a false start on the offense.
That'll move it back right here. Again, Willis with a field goal towards the end of that Camden game of the semifinals, set up by that 56-yard run in the fourth quarter from Perry. And, of course, the 3 there in the fourth quarter really put the game away, made it a 2-possession game, and now Willis trying to tack on one here in the state championship game. A 38-yard field goal attempt for Mark Willis from the near hash, and a bad snap right there. Glisson trying to get rid of it, and he will go down.
Big play there by Josh Van Horn to tackle Glisson for a loss.
Not much there. I'm not sure if that snap, if the ball never really got put down, it looked like, or something.
That's tough, I tell you. You know, this, you know, you don't appreciate how hard it's raining here unless you're right here. I know that you probably folks watching on television see them, but this rain is coming down and you're starting to see puddles on the field start to form.
So now North Gwinnett with the football, the Bulldogs back to work. And Tyler Jari, 3 touchdowns last week in the semifinal win over Walton. Tamburo 235 yards passing and 2 touchdowns, but that offensive attack may be limited to the ground right here. Not only the rain, but the wind picking up as well. Tripp stacked near side, Tripp's up top as well. Empty backfield. Tamburo looking for running room. slips out of the tackle, but just has nowhere to go against that Viking defense.
Nowhere to go, and look at those hats coming to the ball. Fighting to the very end.
Well, I'll tell you what, Lowndes does such a great job up front. Those defensive linemen really keep offensive linemen off of those linebackers so that they're able to free up and make plays. And this time they just got after it.
Just nowhere for Tamburo to run. He's a shifty guy. He's a very, very mobile guy. But again, when you don't have anywhere to go, there's nothing you can do.
Look at this formation. Everybody split out, including the linemen. Tamburo fires, has a man in the seam there. Jari's got some room and takes it up to midfield. That time, they basically just spread the field literally, and there was a little seam route open there for Jari.
Check out Tamburo, the way he's able to snap that pass into Jari as if it's dry out there. I don't know how he was able to complete that pass so easily.
Jari, again, as we mentioned, not only the leading rusher, but also the leading receiver as well for this North Gwinnett offense. 1st and 10, ball at the midfield stripe. Quick hitter right here, Cordero Dixon. His first grab of the night takes it just into Viking territory at the 48.
A lot of poise there being displayed by Tamburo. Getting the clean snap and, of course, delivering the ball on the numbers.
Second down upcoming right here, 2nd and 8. Once again, North Gwinnett will spread the field. The Viking defense trying to make some adjustments right here. This time a little draw play in the middle. Jari takes it to the 45. Can't even see the number on his back anymore after that last tackle in the mud. Who is that guy? Luckily for us, the front of it's still clean right there. Was North Gwinnett located in the Swanee, Georgia area there, a couple of miles from the old Atlanta Falcons practice facility. And now 4 receivers up top, movement across the front. Bulldogs will plead their case here, saying that the Viking D came across.
Dead ball, encroachment on the defense.
And that is indeed the case right here. So ball inside the 40. That will be a first down right there to the 39.
If nothing else, you have to applaud the composure that the Bulldogs are displaying here, moving right along against the elements, even down 28-6. They're still going about their business.
So Coach Bob Spire on the sideline, this Viking D allowing just 8 points a game throughout the season with 3 shutouts. 8 times they've held their opponents under 10 points. And that one on the ground, Tamburo picks it up. He's still got time. Will get one off, throws it. And that one knocked away there. The closest man to it was Marcus Solomon there, number 4. See Tavares Williams right there, active on that defense.
Tamburo picks the ball up, but watch this blow he'll take after delivering his pass there. That's Williams coming over to push it down.
Got a shot on him right there and had a word for him as well. The rain letting up just a tad. Not much, but a little bit. Little drop play. That one going nowhere. Ball loose on the ground. Picked up. Are they going to call it a fumble? I believe they are going to say that Tamburo was down.
Linebacker Blake Summers came shooting up the gap there. Wasn't fooled at all. Slippery conditions caused Tamburo to lose his footing. Take a look at it. He did a complete 360, lost his footing there, but Summers was all over him.
It looked like he was trying to hand that ball to Jari, but just, again, lost his footing right there. Thought better of it. If he tried to get that ball out of there, it would have definitely been on the ground. 3rd and 17. Tamburo looking long down the field. He's got a man there. It's going to be knocked away. 2 receivers in the area. And guess who? Greg Reed, 24 there to knock it up.
Well, Tamburo had his big tight end down the field open there. Big Kenny Barnes. He gets some air up under it. Gets a little bit too much air up under it. Had Cordero and Barnes in the same vicinity there.
I believe they actually knocked that ball away from each other because Reed lost his footing. You see him slip.
Right.
And then Dixon and Barnes coming together.
We see our guy, though, Reed is back there.
4th down and 17. Kyle Mysicon to punt it away. Watch the fake, though, on the Lowndes side of the 50. Mysic will go ahead and punt it. Under a minute to play here in this third period. The Vikings didn't have anybody back. They left the defense on the field. They're anticipating a fake, and that one down at the 15.
I think that was a very smart decision by Coach Randy McPherson. Initially, Reed went back, and he's normally back on the punt returns. But, of course, with the conditions the way they are, it doesn't make sense to even take a chance on fielding a punt.
Lowndes, of course, beating Windsor Forest in round one. A shutout there allowed just 49 yards rushing, a team record, 7 turnovers in that game. You see the fans in the house here tonight with noise makers. Of course, round two, it was a win over Douglas. The O-line really stood up there. Just one punt in that football game. Perry, of course, grabbing his 38th touchdown. Of course, rounding the quarterfinals with a win over Roswell, which propelled this Viking team into the Dome. And of course, they won 10-0 last week against a very good Camden County team. Back on offense here, a few yards over the right side for Adrian Hargett to look like. A little extracurricular activity to look like there. Spirits still high here among the Viking faithful. The Lowndes cheerleaders in the house here tonight. Tell you what, you got to appreciate it. You know, the rain's coming down. You know the football players are going to stay out there. But when the cheerleaders and the band members and everyone stay out there, I tell you, boy, that shows you the dedication.
Hey, man, this is the state championship. This is the state championship not only for the players, but for the cheerleaders, the band, the fans. Hey, they're going to all stay out here and enjoy this.
Final game of 2007. Again, the 5A GHSA State Championship in your living room tonight, right here live on GPB. 2nd and 7. Perry cuts it back into the middle. And that time, big number 75 was all over it. That's Wilburn, 6'2", 235. Again, 5 linemen rotate out. Lowndes up 28-6 over North Gwinnett in this 5A state championship as we get set for the start of quarter 4. Dave Garner, DJ Jones with you. John Nelson, Lisa Weiss on the sideline, along with the rest of the GPB crew.
Dave, last weekend the Georgia Dome, we saw some outstanding, miraculous comebacks. And you know what? I don't want to. 12 minutes left in the game, 28-6. I don't think we're beneath that yet.
Absolutely not. North Gwinnett still may have something to say here tonight, but it's Lowndes with the football as the Vikings continue to punch away there. Again, that was a 2nd down play from Perry.
Of course, in the Dome, the conditions were a lot different than they are here tonight, huh?
Well, that might be a factor, no doubt. Yeah, that is certainly one advantage of playing indoors, especially this time of year. Of course, we welcome you back and all of our viewers watching from around the world. As we mentioned, as Lisa, of course, talked about earlier, Jason Yoshimura, his father, still over in Japan as he was last week and watching our live webcast there. So we certainly want to say hi to all the folks watching abroad there. Again, gpb.org/football, the website there. We encourage you to tell your family and friends about it that live outside state lines there to pick us up here tonight. Kai Franklin hands it straight ahead. Big ball for Hargett. Adrian Hargett on the quick hitter up across the 35. And the Vikings continue to move the football.
And Hargett doing his very best to get his numbers up in the stats as well. As already 199 yards by Reed at 109 yards so far by Perry.
Both teams in here at 13-1, as we mentioned. North Gwinnett dropping the final game of the regular season to Norcross. As Norcross, the number 1 seed out of Region 7. Bulldogs having to play as the 2 seed there. Meanwhile, the Vikings, the region champs, losing their first game in the opener to Harrison, but since then have rattled off 13 straight as the region champs in Region 1 5A. Next year, Region 1 will take over a little bit of a different look. Here's Perry on the carry. He stood up and hit a couple of times on that play right there. Pretty good yardage, though, on first down. Picks up about 5.
A tremendous block by number 65, Lane Grant, to open up the lane there for, as we'll take a look at it here. As Perry right behind big number 65 here. Look at the hole he opens up there. He doesn't see anybody until he gets to the linebacker level. Excellent job all night long up front by the offensive line of the Vikings.
2nd and 4 as you see all the water on the field. And there's a lot in the press box, I can assure you.
You know, most of it's on us.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. Bulldog defense digging in there, 5 across the front. Target, the fullback, this is Reed, left side spinning. And will finally be taken down right at the first down marker. Great second effort right there.
Yes.
It's going to be close.
You know, as I look at the water fill up in the little puddles on the field, you know, you often think back that, isn't this the way football is supposed to be played?
Absolutely. I'm sure you had some pretty interesting weather stories over your years.
Yeah, a little rain, a little sleet, a little snow, and a lot of heat.
State championship games, of course, indoors next year. A couple last night, a few more today. Of course, this one really the season cap, if you will, the final football game of the state of Georgia here in 2007. Of course, I've enjoyed it. It's been a great high school football season all around the state.
And I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the Carver Tigers from Columbus, Georgia. Coach Dale McGee and the Tigers winning their first state championship. Of course, that's my old alma mater.
Congratulations certainly go out to all of our state champions. Of course, Emmanuel County Institute winning yesterday. That game played at Crisp County High School in Cordele. Wilcox County, the home team there, but ECI, of course, winning that one. And of course, a great game you saw last night right here on GPB that you had a hand in right there, DJ. Of course, North Side and Ware County, just a great football game that went back and forth.
Tremendous game. Nationally ranked North Side Warner Robins, but a hard-fought game. Ware County, they came to play.
North Side, of course, will be in. They will move up to 5A next year in the same region with Lowndes. Something's got to give in that region with all the good football teams in there. Ball on the ground. Franklin able to pick it back up and get on it, but a loss right there. That Bulldog defense on the play. Eric Eberhardt, number 94, a guy that we've talked a lot about over the past couple of weeks. There has certainly been a leader up front, along with Pritchard there and Wilborn. Those three really standing out up front. And of course, that offensive line for Lowndes has just absolutely been phenomenal throughout the year.
Tell you what, it's hard to even think that the quarterback can take the center snap in the conditions the way they are now. It's just a pig pen out there almost.
Second down and 12. Franklin once again under center. He's going to hand it off. That's Reed left side. Watch that. He's got some real estate. Stiff arm pulled down. Good open field tackle there once again by Moreland, who has certainly had a few here in this game.
Definitely, that's a great tackle by Moreland out there, and a very, very talented running back there. Of course, able to take him down even with the stiff arm.
Well, we want to take a moment here to express our thanks to Ray Klein and Charles Weatherington at Rental Service Corporation here in Valdosta for their help in providing scissor lifts for our end zone cameras here tonight. Over the past 11 years, the RSC family has truly been a friend of these championship games, and we sincerely appreciate their support. And I don't know what we'd do here tonight if we didn't have that scissor lift down there in the end zone. I'll tell you what, keeping it off the ground there a little bit, some great end zone angles. 3rd and 7 right here, and all kinds of movement.
It's getting sloppy all the way around right now.
Dead ball, false start on the offense. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
That's Glisson right there back in there. He's really been rotating a lot of snaps here with Franklin here tonight. He is known more as more of a passer, but we haven't really seen the Vikings throw the football that much. They really haven't had to. They've been able to keep it on the ground and have success there. 3rd 12 though right here. Tavares Williams in the backfield. CJ Moore split wide near side. There is Williams with the carry. Watch out across midfield and takes a big shot at the tail end of that play. And it will be 4th down.
Tavares Williams, normally the headhunter on defense, but takes a little time to come over and help his teammates out on the offensive side there, picking up some good yardage.
Moreland again, another tackle right there from that safety spot tonight. He has really been active all over the field. 4th and 7. North Gwinnett has blocked 4 punts this year. Quillis with 7 blocks himself, 3 of those punts and 4 field goals. We'll see if they bring some pressure right here. Looks like they're going to just kind of leave the defense out there right now with Lowndes spreading this punt formation. They'll rush a couple. but Martin will get it off. And Dixon will pick it up at the 16, and he is ate up right there on the spot.
Demps, big hit by Demps. Gerald Demps, 6'1", 200-pound junior, still playing hard. Good coverage on the punt cover team for the Vikings.
Well, we want to take a moment here to express our thanks to Score Atlanta for their coverage of all the GHSA games broadcast here on GPB over the past 2 weekends. Score Atlanta provides high school sports coverage every Wednesday in their prep editions, which is available for free at more than 1,300 Metro Atlanta locations. Again, I.J. Rosenberg and all the folks from Score Atlanta, we certainly appreciate their coverage of all these GHSA games broadcast live right here on GPB. North Gwinnett offense back to work. Tyler Jari back into the middle of the field. Jari, the lead back here tonight behind that offensive line. Thomas, you saw him 52, that center.
Oh, they're starting to party here, Lyles.
They're starting. A lot of dancing going on here tonight. The Bridgman, they play throughout the game. They never stop. Tamburo will swing it out to Yoshimura. Inside there, stays on his feet. Good looking play right there for a first down on 2nd and 5. He got about 7. Yoshimura has been one of the favorite go-to guys for Tamburo all season long. 6 foot, 185 pounds, and a good looking athlete. We're going to look at the Bridgman in the house here tonight. At the Concrete Palace here, Martin Stadium in Valdosta. Next year, looks like maybe some artificial turf possibly here as well. That would certainly help on a night like tonight, I guess, to kind of help absorb some of that. As you see the conditions here up to their ankles in mud.
You know, when I pulled up on the campus here earlier tonight, I had no idea that the Lowndes County High School was as beautiful as it is. I mean, it's been renovated in the last few years, and it looks like it rivals some small college campuses. Beautiful facility.
Stadium is top-notch. I love it. I'll tell you what, this is what high school football is all about. The big stadiums, big-time games.
6:52 on the clock. 6:52.
Put some more time back on the clock right here. This crowd has been loud all night long.
6:52 on the clock.
We're waiting for the clock right here.
6:52 on the clock.
Trying to put some more time on the clock right here. I'm not sure they can hear him upstairs here.
I think we need to pass the word down.
Yeah, I think so.
Hey, Jay, what do you say?
Try to spread the word there.
Let's look at the proud members of the Lowndes Vikings.
We're going to look at it right there. They just trying to get word up here to the booth, but they can't establish contact because it's so loud there. And I think they finally got the word. They're holding it up right here. And now they will come on over and talk things over. You see the rain pouring. What an atmosphere here tonight, DJ.
Yes, indeed. Let's go party in the rain here.
Well, you know, when you talk about high school football in the state of Georgia and the southeastern part of the United States for that matter, but especially here in Georgia, I'd put it up against anything. I know that Texas, Florida, certain states like that are big, but Georgia, a lot of talent coming out of Georgia.
A lot of talent comes right out of this town.
Absolutely. Tamburo this time with time. Throwing down the pit has got Yoshimura. Grabs it at the 45. Great catch inbounds in Viking territory.
Excellent pass, excellent catch there. Take another look at it as Tamburo in the rain, in the slump, still able to get off a nice pass to one of his favorite guys.
Dossie, the corner, was over there, just couldn't quite get up high enough for that one right there. And yeah, in times of need, you go to your playmakers.
That's right.
That's what North Gwinnett's doing. Look at Yoshimura right there as the rain starts to fall heavy here again with 6:34 left in the contest. 28-6, Lowndes leads it over North Gwinnett. Tamburo on the keeper right here. He's got some real estate. First down right at the marker, taken down right at the 35, and I believe that will be enough for a first down right there.
Gerald Demps comes in from his cornerback position to make the tackle here. Excellent choice on running the option is Tamburo up inside, finds a crack, and accelerates for the extra yardage.
Trips near side in a stack formation. And the same story up top. Quick hitter right there. That one tipped and intercepted at the 31. That is Williams. Midfield, trying to make a move. Still on his feet. He's got a convoy in front of him. Williams, one man to beat to the 10, to the 5. Touchdown! 59 yards on the return for Tavares Williams. DJ, the guy we talked about in the pregame here tonight.
Do you remember what I said his nickname was?
Money in the bank.
Money in the bank, baby. I guess he just shut the door. Take another look here. The ball gets deflected and lands right into the lap of Williams, and he just does a great job of maneuvering himself all the way down the field, some 59 yards, to pay dirt.
And look at those guys helping him out there, blocking downfield, staying with their blocks.
Here's another look. Now, he did a great job, of course, on this return. Maneuvering himself, getting behind his teammates, picking up the blocks.
There's Yoshimura down there trying to make a play. And one of those big linemen down there, that was Hannah, the tackle, 6'4", 225, good hustle. All the way down the field there, nearly got to him, but Williams able to win the race there to the goal line. So 34-6 the score here. And waiting on the PAT right here. A timeout, it looks like, on the field. With 5:43 to go in this one. Williams, the big play guy, all kinds of tackles this year. There you go, look at him right there.
Big day for that young man and several others. Tavares Williams, money in the bank.
59 yards right there on the INT return for a touchdown. This has been an opportunistic Lowndes defense all year long. That's just what they've done. They only allowed 94 yards of total offense, as we mentioned last week inside the Dome against Camden on a dry track against a very fast football team. And again, certainly not disappointing here tonight. Mark Willis now will try to add the PAT. Willis, a junior. Out of the hold. Oh, a little fake right here. Glisson firing it up into the end zone and knocked away at the last second. Well played by North Gwinnett. That looked like a two-point play all the way there.
Absolutely. It was a great play of recovering and knocking the ball away.
Trying to get it to Copeland there, as you see. And a good job by that Bulldog defense. So the score remains 34-6 with 5:43 left in this one right here. And the Viking faithful can feel it here inside their home stadium tonight. Of course, the Valdosta State Blazers already capturing the Division II National Championship earlier this afternoon over the Northwest Missouri State team there. And now this Lowndes Viking team is trying to cap off their 5th state title, their 3rd in the last 4 years. And there you get a look at the score earlier today, 25-20 in Florence, Alabama there. Valdosta State right down the road here. Again, the NCAA Division II National Champ.
Wintersville, USA.
And there's a reason they call it that. No doubt. Between Valdosta High and, of course, Lowndes here. Valdosta State have put together a winning tradition.
I played college ball with a couple of pretty good football players from here by the name Buck Lou. You ever heard that guy?
I've heard of him.
John Lester?
Absolutely, yeah.
I think those guys were from this neck of the woods.
I think so. 1980 national champs, man. Where's the ring at?
You know, I don't want to fly. I don't want to show off.
Don't want to get it wet here tonight. Short kick this time, returnable for Jari. He will hit the 20. Well, that's all. Good coverage by the Vikings on special teams. We've seen some good kick coverage here tonight by both squads.
Yeah, absolutely. That's an excellent job in the kicking game by both teams. I'll tell you, these punters and kickers have done tremendously well when they have been able to get the center snap. Had a couple of bad snaps, but the punters have definitely, the punters and the kickers have been doing their job.
Cheerleaders in the house here tonight. Lots of folks fired up. They're going to look at Tamburo, who would go back to work right here with time winding down. As an 8th grader, he worked alongside David Green and Jason White of Oklahoma during a camp as those two were prepping for the NFL draft. And of course, Tamburo, as an 8th grader, learned a lot from David Green, who taught him a lot about poise and being patient. And Tyler Jari also at that same camp, along with Reggie Brown from Georgia and Mike Williams as a receiver there. So those two, really with Tamburo and Jari, they've really developed some good chemistry.
And I'm going to give you a secret here. Tamburo's dad, Mikey's dad, John, is a performance coach. He worked with some of the best. They had a clinic in camp in Atlanta, and of course they have a facility now that they're putting together, and they work with these college level kids, pro athletes, and they also have a program designed for high school kids.
Saw number 7 in the ball game. That's Thompson, who will take over at quarterback. Patrick Thompson, the 6'3" senior, taking the snap there. Saw him earlier in the game, as you mentioned, DJ. The first 15 plays, Coach Spire scripts, and they're going to look at Thompson's numbers on the season. 35 of 51, 506 yards, 2 touchdowns, and just 1 interception there for the senior, who will more than likely carry the Bulldogs out here in this one. Tamburo with a pretty solid night, but just a tough night, especially with the weather the way it is, to really try to throw that football around effectively. 3rd and 2. Thompson looking to throw it, gets it off, and that one caught. Nice looking play right there. Boy, big number 84 on the reception for North Gwinnett.
I tell you, with all these clean uniforms and these new numbers, obviously these coaches are trying to get as many kids in to action as they can here in state championship game.
It's Alex Cobb on the reception.
And you're wondering why those uniforms are so clean here. Again, that's like I said, I guess it's best safe to say that most of the starters are resting on the sideline now. And again, this is a great game. This, win or lose, these kids, this is a big night. Getting the opportunity to experience playing in a state championship game, that's what it's all about.
Ball loose on the ground. The Bulldogs will fall on it. And that North Gwinnett offensive line has been great throughout the year. Again, Thomas, the centers we talked about, LaPointe, Shepard, the guard. Shepard listed at 6'4", 305 is certainly a hoss up there. And of course, you got Duggan and Hannah at the tackles, who have been excellent as well, at 6'4", 265 for Duggan, and 6'4", 225 for Hannah as well. So some size there across the front. And a lot of these guys, juniors, are going to be back next year, and we look forward to talking about them.
Right.
We'll look at Jari right there. Muddy uniform. He may have the dirtiest uniform in the building here tonight.
And he's still going strong.
Still going. 2nd 11. That's Chad Jari, number 20, the younger brother in the ball game. He will take over at running back and hit a couple of times there. Good job to keep his feet, but eventually pulled down.
Tell you what, I think Copeland gave him that first blow, but for Jari to get off of that first hit without going down, I tell you what, that's quite an accomplishment.
Nearing the 3-minute mark, they're going to look at the championships. Again, yesterday it was Emmanuel County Institute 41-21 over the Wilcox County Patriots. Ely, another big game, 272 yards and 3 touchdowns. And of course, earlier today, Lovett blanked by Buford 50-0 in the AA championship. Chad Jari on another carry takes it inside the 45. Here's the rest of the state championship finals here. Of course, Carver, a 3-point winner over the Cairo Syrup Makers. First ever football state championship for Carver Columbus. Congratulations there. And of course, you got this one here tonight. Of course, last night, Northside 20-14 over the Ware County Gators. Green, a touchdown pass, 138 rushing yards, and a TD reception there as well. Again, Northside coming back late in that football game after trailing going into the 4th quarter. Back-to-back titles for the Eagles. 4th down and 6. Bulldogs will go for it right here. And Thompson out of the shotgun, flanked by a pair of backs. Under pressure, throws it away. In and out of the hands, right at the 35. And incomplete, and the ball will go over. That was right at the sticks. Cobb unable to hang on to it. Now the Vikings will take over with just 2:06. And the celebration is on here. The Vikings can feel it.
It's on, man. I tell you, you feel it in the air. And, of course, actually, you felt it about 4 minutes ago when the band started playing and everybody in the stands started dancing.
They're going to look at the Bridgman, 340 strong. They need their own area code, as many members as they have there. But I tell you what, I've enjoyed it here tonight. Of course, the North Gwinnett High School band across the way as well, making a lot of noise. And just want to welcome all the folks in the house here tonight. Despite the weather the way it is, still a pretty packed house here for most of the night.
Indeed. There are definitely football fans in this place.
5A GHSA State Championship. Largest classification in the state of Georgia in the final football game of the season. Brought to you live right here on GPB. A little handoff here over the right side. Some fresh numbers in the game. 27, Dominic Davis on the carry. Tyler Hunter, the freshman, in at quarterback. Number 5. And you also see some fresh numbers there on that Bulldog defense as well. Number 90, Justin Dickens, a sophomore, into the lineup across the front.
And taking a look at tonight, you talk about the senior running back, Darian Perry. Again, he was started as a freshman, some 4 years ago, getting to, of course, finish his final game, a state champion. This will be his 3rd state championship ring.
As it will for all these seniors. Perry was really one guy who started, he's played all 55 games basically since his freshman season right there. Most of these freshmen, though, were able to dress in that first season, both at home and on the road. And there you get a look at a cold bath right there by Coach Randy McPherson. And finally a smile there. Not much on the carry right there, Coach McPherson. Well, I'll tell you what, I mean, you're already soaked. What difference does it make at this point?
Just took the temperature up a little, actually down a little bit with that cold ice.
Under a minute here, time winding down, and the Vikings will have to snap it one more time here. As you see the noisemakers in the house.
And in the background, you can hear the band here from Lowndes. And I wondered, during pregame, they were playing this song, Party Like a Rock Star. And you know what? It's only fitting right now.
Yep. Folks began lining up in the parking lot early this afternoon for some tailgating. It's really a college-like atmosphere here throughout the night. And that should do it. The final play, and the celebration is on. A little mud diving going on here, and another bucket. That one a little off the mark right there, though, as Coach McPherson dodges it. But the celebration is on, and the Lowndes Vikings are your 2007 Class 5A champions, their 3rd state title in the last 4 seasons. What a run. Unbelievable job here tonight. It was an all-around team effort. Greg Reed stood out, as did that defense. The offensive line opening up holes, and credit the North Gwinnett Bulldogs. Keep their heads up, their 1st state championship appearance. These guys making the 4-hour trip from Sewanee, Georgia, and playing a good football game.
And you know what? This is not the last time that you're going to see those Bulldogs down here. You got a lot of juniors, a lot of good football players, and you know what? I look forward to seeing those guys again.
Absolutely. Let's go downstairs to John Nelson, standing by with the winning coach. John.
Here with Coach Mack, a complete team effort, and that's what you prided yourself on. How does it feel to win another state championship?
Oh, it feels great. I want to thank God again for blessing us one more time. He's been doing it all year. Proud of our kids. What a great effort. Offense, defense, special teams. Coaches had a great game plan. I'm just proud of them.
Talk about things offensively. You got a fantastic effort on the running game, the wing tee. You ran it to a tee tonight.
They did an offensive line, did a good job, took control of the game. Just proud of them.
The Mayflower Moving Company came through one more time, didn't they?
Yes, they sure did.
Defensively, let's go through things. You kept them in check. You said you had to keep everything in front of you, and except for that one play, you kept everything in front of you, and that's probably the best hug you can get.
Yes, sir. Defense did a great job, all but one play. What an effort.
Randy McPherson, congratulations. You are again 5A state champions. Send it back upstairs where they might be drier than us.
I doubt it.
Lowndes a winner, 34-6 over North Gwinnett in the 5A state football championship as the celebration continues here at a rain-soaked Martin Stadium in Valdosta. That's going to wrap things up for our entire GPB crew. For DJ Jones, John Nelson, and Lisa Weiss, I'm Dave Garner saying so long, everyone. We'll do it again next season.